Press start.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start episode 189 of the Current Gen podcast. My name's Tim. I'm here with Derek, Kyle, and Dan, and I think Jeff's going to join us. So anyway, hopefully he'll be here soon. But good evening, guys. How are we doing? Kyle, that shirt matches your poster. I dig that.
Oh, yeah. Sick. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
It just compliments it. You know, you don't blend right in, but, if you were doing a family photo with that poster, that would work really well.
I can't even see Kyle. Where's Kyle? He's just blended.
Where's
I was going to say.
I like it. Yeah, we've got some things to cover this week. Not as many big brand new games that, at least for us as a group, that we are spending a ton of time with. So we'll talk about a few new stuff, a few new games that are out this week. But really, a lot of it is just amped up for next week. Two major games dropping, and a few other smaller games as well. But two major games dropping next week that I know we've had on our hype list since we knew they existed. And in the case of Spider-Man 2, even before we knew it was officially announced, we were like, yup, whenever that's announced, that's my most anticipated. So super excited for Mario and for Spider-Man. Spider Mario is the official title.
Spider Mario.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Mario.
Yeah. Well, let's start things off with what has come out this week. And that is Lords of the Fallen. Because what I've heard that people want is another Dark Souls-like game. That's what I've heard.
They're selling, so yeah.
It's working.
They're doing well.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen came out. And of course, the reviews on it came back. I think if you were to have asked people to predict it, everyone would have predicted it's probably mid to low 70s, and that's kind of where it's landed. Like, I think it's landed overall positive, not like a change in, this is changing the industry type of a thing, but it's above average for sure. It's on the cusp of good for a lot of people, and some people scored it even as great, which is awesome. So Lords of the Fallen is out. It's on PC, I believe on PS5 and Xbox Series as well. Derek got it on PS5. I was actually going to hold off for a sale on PC, but since we got it on PS5, we decided to split it. So I did dive in a little bit yesterday, have plans to play more this coming week, building up to Spider Mario Day. So far, I think it's definitely a Dark Souls like. It's a lot like Dark Souls. Not like you say a Souls like, and that could really mean a whole variety of things. Everything from Ashen and Lies of P and the Sekiro and Bloodborne and Elden Ring. They're all very, very different games, even though they have some shared rule sets within them. But they're very different games. Just ask Dan. He played Sekiro and loved it, and he did not have that same feeling with Elden Ring or with some of the Dark Souls games. He just wasn't feeling it in the same way, even though they all follow very similar rules. So anyway, all that to say, I think Lords of the Fallen very much strikes me as a Dark Souls game, more than some of the others do. But Derek, you've spent most time with it. Why don't you tell us what you think so far, and how does it stack up for those who like these kind of games?
Okay, so let me start off by being positive first. If I had, I'm 13 hours in. If I had to rate it like right now, I would give it a 7.5. So that to me means it's good. It's good. It's solid. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, out of all the Souls games I've played, I cuss a lot when I'm playing the Souls games. Like and I've said it on the podcast, I have a lot of deep conversations with myself, questioning, trying to understand why I'm doing this, why the game is doing this.
Derek gets really introspective whenever you play Souls games. Yeah.
Real quick, can I just ask though, do you have a mirror for this process? How do you go about this?
I usually just call Sasan, and then he puts me on mute, and I just talk to him. But like this game,
it's free and better than therapy.
That's right. Perfect.
Yeah. My biggest. All right. So I said I'd start with the positives. So the positives is, from a combat standpoint and gameplay standpoint, it plays really, really well. It's really it works. There are some issues. I'll get to them in the negative, but it works. When I say it works, I mean feelings. It feels good.
It does what you expect, right? Dodge.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like Souls fans will harp on is this doesn't feel tight like from software. Right. Yeah, and Lords of the Fallen from 2013 I remember when I played it at first, I was a newbie to Souls games. I had just started them, so I was like, "Ooh, this one's supposed to be easier, so I'll like it." So I jumped into that one, and I got like 3 bosses in. It wasn't that easy, to be honest with you. The first boss was, but after that, it wasn't. Um, but at the time, I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good." And then everybody told me it sucked, and that didn't change my opinion. Kept saying it's good until I went back to it after I played a bunch of Souls games, and then I started to understand why people harp on gameplay and feeling and how it feels. And that's when I realized Lords of the Fallen from 2013 feels terrible. It just doesn't feel good. It's real floaty. It's not smooth. This one's not like that. So I would say for anybody that played Lords of the Fallen in 2013 that maybe had a concern with, is this going to be just like it? It's a totally different team. I don't think anybody from the original team is on this team, and it does not. It feels good. It feels like you're playing a From Software Souls game. So that's the first thing. I think that's really good. Second thing, it looks amazing. It's in Unreal Engine 5. I am playing it primarily on PS5. As Tim said, him and I split the costs on it, so I'm playing it there. I'm playing it on 1080p at 60 frames per second. I'm using my little monitor I always talk about that I think is absolutely amazing. So it looks really, really good on my little monitor, and it plays really good there. I did try to play it on,
and that other world you go to has a great effect to it. Their lighting is really neat, and I would say the animations, at least early in the game, for the enemies, is very like visually. I'm finding it to be very appealing. Like I think it looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it switches because of Sony's SSD, and only Sony's SSD does do this. On the Xbox, it has a load screen, but you can actually switch from the world to the other world instantaneously. So
now, the Xbox game
a
requires you to
PlayStation.
install an update every time you load. Into new area. Yeah.
Could you
That's
imagine?
a joke for people that are stupid. But the way you can switch back and forth between the worlds, like you just hold up a lamp and the way it changes instantaneously, it's really cool. And this is a very detailed world. So again,
Jack, do you think some of the puzzles are almost a little Zelda-like? You get this lamp, and now you can go through a path you couldn't have before because you hold it up, and now the bar has disappeared because in this other world those bars aren't there. It's a little bit like Titanfall 2, little Zelda. That's kind of cool, I think, the way they did some of that.
So there is like, I mean, we could say it's puzzles. There are little situations, like there are parts in the game, and especially when you play it later, you're gonna see what I'm talking about, where you can't advance into a world or a level unless you open up an area, and you have to use the other world to open up the area, and use that lamp. So they absolutely use that into the gameplay mechanics. So that's something that's, to me, completely different from any Souls game. No, I don't think any other Souls game has ever had 2 worlds happening at the same time. It also, that second world, it's Umbro world, I think it's called.
Umbra.
The Umbro world is absolutely stress. It's just pure stress. It's like,
we have a timer too, right? Basically.
That's what I was going to share. So when you switch over into that world, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. You have eyes watching you, and they're just staring at you and watching you. And as you move through the world, the longer you stay in the world, the more and more they send enemies at you. Enemies just keep coming. And I'm not talking about that you only face enemies in that world. You have the enemies in the regular world, plus they add on extra enemies. So this game, to say they overdo it when it comes to difficulty in the actual worlds that you're exploring, is ridiculous. So now I've switched from my positivity. Now let's get into negativity, where I question why I play these games and why this game does what it does. So there is some issues with the game. My biggest gripe, to me, is it has an auto lock on. I did try to see if there was an option for it. I'm sure there is, but I didn't see it real quick when I was looking. But it auto locks, like when I say auto lock, you choose to lock, but it auto switches once you like kill an enemy or something like that. But the auto lock is, in my opinion, broken. Like if there's one enemy on the screen, sure, it knows That's the enemy you're picking, and it'll do it. But if there's like 5 enemies, which, by the way, there's a ton of situations where there's 5 to 10 guys tracking you, and you can go, well, I'll just run away and fight them one by one. The game doesn't allow that either because they all chase you the entire level. It's absolutely obnoxious. But anyways,
Sure.
so when you have a lot of enemies and you're trying to lock on, the game for some reason will be stupid and be like, oh, you want to target that guy 10 miles away from you. I'm like, no, he's literally right there. And I'm talking to the game. No, he's right there. He's right there. You could pick that one right there. The one I want to swing at. Instead, you pick that one. I hit the swing button because if you played Souls games, you expect this stuff to work. You click it and then you swing because you're expecting it to lock onto that guy. I cannot tell you how many times I've swung at air or swung at the wrong guy.
And the closer dude to you gets a hit on you then at that point.
Yeah, and it becomes infuriating. So, in my opinion, that is hopefully something that other gamers will give feedback on and maybe they'll address because it becomes very infuriating. And that's the thing. This game is extremely difficult game. And I'm wondering if they made it difficult because maybe they want you to play co-op. I don't know. I think I shared it in the group. I thought it was really cool that this game is a game where you can play with a buddy or a random person online and you guys can just play the entire level. It's not like Dark Souls or something like that where it's like, hey, you can join me for the boss fight and then if we win or lose, we get disconnected. It doesn't work that way. You can literally play the entire level together. You can fight the bosses together. I think even after you beat the bosses, I haven't tried it yet. I think even after you beat a boss, you continue your journey. So they make it a lot easier to play co-op. And the reason I bring that up is because the level designs feel like it's like, hey, we make this really hard for 2 people. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. It just feels that way. Because I find that the levels are extremely difficult. And then I get to the boss and I'm like, this was super easy. Like the boss was so freaking easy. And it's usually the reverse. Usually, like in Souls games, yes, you'll have those levels that you don't like or whatever. But in general, they'll have like target areas that are difficult, but they usually you get pretty good at them and you can explore. I don't feel like I can explore. I feel like I'm always running. I'm always looking for a shortcut. I'm always looking for, I'm going to call it a bonfire. It's not a bonfire. I'm always looking for a bonfire. I never find them. I was sharing with Sasan through text. I was like, dude, I'm in a level. I literally run 9 miles, fucking go right into a boss fight. Didn't even know I'm going into a boss fight. So I lose all my souls. Then I'm running. I'm like, well, I don't want to go that way. So I'm going to go to the left side. So it's the level splits. I go to the left. I run into a fucking boss fight. I'm like, you guys, are you serious right now? You didn't give me a shortcut. You didn't give me a bonfire. You gave me 2 bosses. I hate you. So that's why I'm mad. So that's the
Is
last
that when
thing
you
I've
turn to
done.
the mirror and start having some self-reflection?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
what are you doing? Like why are you playing this game, Derek? Go play something easier. But I'm addicted. I mean, I played 13 hours between today and yesterday. I was off yesterday, but still, and that's just my time on PlayStation. I played some time on PC. It's a broken mess on PC for me, at least. I saw other people complaining about it too.
Okay.
But the performance is all over the place. But overall, it's a good game. This is my first taste of it. Maybe next week, if I beat it, I'll be like singing its praises. But right now, I would say it fits that 7.5 to 8. I see its blemishes, but I think they did a really good job. This isn't a From Software team. I don't know if they're double A. I'm sure they've got like AAA budgeting. I don't see how you can make this game and not have AAA budgeting. But a lot of respect for what they are doing because they did do a lot of things right. But there are some stuff they really need to clean up. And my 2 biggest gripes are level design, and I gave an example of one level. That was not the only level. I had 3 levels where I was like, dude, you're not letting me explore. You have guys sniping me while I've got 5 enemies attacking me. I have no idea where I'm going. You have 5 different directions. I'm a guy. I'm not asking for directions. I'm just going to explore on my own, and you're not letting me do it. So it becomes very infuriating. So that's one of my biggest gripes is level design. And the two I would say is the lock-on system. I really think it's jacked up. It messes up way too often.
Well, in a game that difficult, you need that to work well. Like
if you're gonna throw 5 to 10 enemies at me, you need to have that shit together, because you can't be throwing them at them and be like, well, the game's really hard. No, you just made it harder because you made it more difficult.
Or
because
just
you
do
didn't
the
have
Ghost
it
of
working.
Tsushima thing and have no lock on, and everyone will whine about it.
Yeah. Sure.
Wait, did people whine about? Nah, they didn't whine about that. They were happy with it. Never mind. Everyone was fine with it.
Yeah, everybody's okay with it.
I'm just kidding. I also whined about it. I wanted it, but I still love that
absolutely.
game.
You guys are bad samurais. It's fine.
I know. I am. I'll admit it. I am
Get
not
good.
a good samurai.
Get good.
The ponies came out full force to defend that. It doesn't need a lock on. Yeah, every game uses it, but that one game doesn't need it.
I remember debating with someone. I was like, hey, just to be clear, even with the other amazing games from that year, like that was my pick for game of the year. I love this game. I just wish it had a lock on. I would have enjoyed it even more. They're like, nope. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
my bad.
Good.
My bad for wanting a thing. My fault.
Thank you for your
apology.
That's cool that you wanted it. I didn't want it or need it, so that's fine. It's
all right. Condescension.
I'm not saying it didn't need it. I'm saying I personally didn't want it or need it because it didn't affect my enjoyment.
You sound like a Souls player right now. I get it. I totally get it.
Absolutely not. I played on very easy. I played on
very easy. Wearing Attack on Titan shirt there?
Yes, I am.
Fucking weeb. Weeb.
Oh, just wait. I have goodies.
I mean, you are wearing
a
button Spider-Man shirt.
I don't know what you're talking about. No
That's
idea.
the highest level of nerd.
At least we're wearing clothes.
Look behind you, Dan. I mean, coming at me like I'm a nerd.
Hey, our audio only listeners, this is a real tough section.
Yeah.
What are these guys talking about?
Well, there's a reason why they're audio only. They don't want to see all the good.
Is that
so? It's just so pale.
All right. Well, thanks for that update on Lords of the Fallen. It's one of those ones where I do plan on playing it more. Obviously, I didn't pay full price for it, which is nice. So Derek and I split it, like you said, on PS5. So I am planning on playing it more. I at least want to get through a handful of bosses, explore more of the world. I'm going to get past that opening section. I just barely finished that first opening section where you get to that first save point. Like I didn't spend much time with it at all. Mostly because I'm playing Assassin's Creed Mirage and I'm kind of coasting through that game, and I'd like to finish that first. Anyway, so I do plan on playing it.
Would have been wise of me, but no.
Yeah.
Not gonna.
I really need to get that off my plate before Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, you got 5 days ish.
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah.
Good luck with that. All right, so technically we already talked about this last week because it was an early access. You guys played Forza Motorsport a little bit, but it's out for real now. And I know at least Jeff has downloaded it and played it since we last talked. Because I don't think you had last week, right? I don't think you had. Okay.
I'm too poor to get it early.
So any updated thoughts, and then Jeff's thoughts on Forza Motorsport? It's obviously a major release for Xbox this week.
Forza Motorsport does not have a lock-in on system though. So are you okay playing that game?
I don't know if I can do it.
Okay.
Now, Jeff,
you're road.
Jeff, I know that sometimes a racing game will capture you, like Forza Horizon 5 did, and it did for me too. But sometimes it'll capture you, and you're like, dude, I think this is like my game right now. So is this one at that level or similar, or where is this one?
This is a palate cleanser that's just going to hold me over until Spider-Man 2, honestly. Like, I really enjoy how it feels to race, like, and how you feel yourself getting better, like Derek said last week, where you do an auto upgrade to your... I'm doing auto upgrade. I don't know shit about mechanic stuff with cars. So I just do auto upgrade, and you feel the difference in the next race. Like, immediately you feel it, because it's all in how you brake and coast in every turn. And also on top of that, I don't remember Gran Turismo 7 having this, and I did do like 8 races in that. So it's not like I did a lot, but I did a few. I don't remember practice laps. So in Forza Motorsport, you're doing...
I think it was optional.
You could choose to do a practice lap, but yeah,
I never did.
Forza, like, you know, it
Forza's
makes it a
like,
point to
do it.
You have to do it. It's part of the progression process.
And I feel myself getting better as a racer as I do the actual race. Like it's really cool.
skip it in motorsport, like you have to select it, but if you hit start once you start it, you can actually exit it, but it will warn you like, hey, you're not gonna get like
Oh, I
all
didn't know
the
that. Okay.
Yeah, I
you're
didn't
not
know
gonna
that
be able to
either.
level up your car and stuff like that. So I never skip it because I always want my
You want to
Yeah,
level up your car.
Dude,
you want
yes,
to,
it's an easy way to level up your car, and you, of course, there's that dopamine hit you get of getting each segment of that's measured, at least each measured segment of the track better each time, where
I
you
like
see
the
that
grades on
green
those segments
time.
too.
And yeah, I got a 9 today, and I never thought I would get above a 7. Like, so I got a 9 out of 10 on one of the segments today, and it got me an achievement, and that felt like amazing. I couldn't believe that happened. So there's that whole gratification element of the game that's keeping me playing, even though it's not personally my type of racer. I prefer the arcadey movement of a Forza Horizon, but it is really, it's still fun at its core. Like, it still makes me feel like I'm doing something, whereas Forza Horizon is more like a collectathon that I really, really enjoy getting addicted to. Like, it's just a little different. And hitting high scores. I love doing that too. But this is just different. It's more like mathematical. Like, I feel like I'm solving a math problem when I actually finish a race and hit all of the, the whatever you want to call it, mission markers or whatever. I don't know what they're called. Objectives, I guess. But yeah, I'm just going my way through the regular. There's like career tracks and then there's featured tracks. I haven't done any of the featured stuff. I've only been focusing on what the game offers you at the outset, which is like they offer you the feature tracks right away, but you need some money to buy a vehicle for those. I don't have enough yet. That's how early I am in the game. But anyway, it's gorgeous. Car ran real good. I don't know what to do with my hands. That's nice. My poor person impression of Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, you're so far behind. Ugh, so embarrassing. Now, Kyle and Derek, I know you got it early and gave some thoughts last week. Have you spent much more time with it, and any additional thoughts on this one?
I wasn't here last week, so I haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, Kyle, go.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm like 18 hours in or so. I'm almost through the top, the top row career stuff or whatever. I'm on the last. I'm on the last rate. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it takes a while. You know, I'm still not even done with that top row with how many hours I've been into the game. I just echo everything what Jeff was saying. Like, every car feels different. Every time you put something on it, it feels different. You know, and it doesn't have that immediate fun factor that Horizon has, you know, because like, you're like, hey, I'm going to race a locomotive now. And, now I'm going to race a hot air balloon or whatever. Like, there's a lot of different stuff to do in that game. Hey, this race is about, jumping off the craziest jump possible. Whereas like Motorsport is just like, you're going to race on this track. And then you're going to get done with that and you're going to race on the next track. So like, it does strip away some of that kind of like fun, different in gameplay and stuff like that. But I knew what I was signed up for with these types of games. I love sim racers. I love all the difficulty sliders in this game. You can make it as hard or as easy as you want it to be. Yep. If you, let's say you want to start playing with the simulation aspect of the racing itself and turning off, auto brake and auto steer and stuff like that. And then maybe dumping the level down a little bit so you can kind of get used to driving and everything like that. And you can work your way up. And then as you work your way up, you get more money multipliers and stuff like that for how difficult you make it. It's a real good give and take system, in terms of how, meeting it, or the game meeting you on your level of.
Dude, I forgot to mention that. And I love that because it wasn't until my play session today that I was like, let's start at 24th place instead of 12th. And that got you, not only does it get you car points for each car you pass, but at the end it's double the XP or whatever, double the money or whatever. Or not double,
and the climb's intense. That's like 23 cars ahead of you, It's an intense, Everybody's drivatar just runs into each other. It's insane. Like, I wish drivers would drive a little better, in this game, the AI, because they replicate how other people drive, and other people just drift into each other.
Literally ram you.
Sometimes they're way off track.
Just run directly into you as you're making a perfect turn or whatever,
Can you turn off the drivatar thing?
I don't know. I haven't really played with that, but I think
it that bad, but I do notice it.
The harder you make it, the more they're like, I don't know, like drive a little better, Okay. So,
right.
So there is that too. They brake a little better, they corner a little better, and everything like that.
Which makes the passing lane a little harder, more minute and stuff.
Yeah.
That sometimes.
The graphics have been awesome. I started it on quality mode at 30 frames per second, which this is the most boring thing in the entire world you could talk about. So sorry. But when I bumped it to performance mode. When I bumped it to performance mode at 60 frames, like, it's so, and I'm not the guy who's like, well, I could really tell. Sometimes I can. Here, I could really tell, obviously.
Super smooth.
And well, yeah, I mean, like, first person shooters, racers, fighting games, like, you need the most frames, you know what I mean? So those are just quick games that like where every frame counts, and you can just really feel it in this. And it made the game look prettier, even though I know on quality mode it has to look prettier because that's the whole point of it, you know.
Right.
But just the way that it's like flowing though in how fast that you're going and everything like that, with all the details and the environments and stuff like that, like you want 60 frames, you know. So I tried that and that was really good, and I liked it locked. I don't want to turn on the ray tracing, which is going to dump that frames per second. So I'm happy with where it's at right now. The game is just beautiful. I really enjoy playing it, and I came around on the practice runs because I've started getting that dopamine once I realized I was like, oh, this is about like cornering and like getting the high score on segments and stuff like that. Kind of flipped the entire way that I looked at those practice rounds.
And you get points for all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you get experience. You don't get money, and money, you don't use money to upgrade your parts either. Like your car level dictates like what parts you put on your car and stuff like that. So money's a little more freed up to buy cars and stuff like that.
For stupid customizations. Rich people customizations, like, you know, the painting your car or getting a new car or that stuff.
And they have all the old features where you can download other people's designs onto your car and stuff like that too. So if you're not a car designer or whatever, you know, like you can just download someone's wrap or whatever, which is always fun.
I did that with Forza Horizon 5.
I do it in all these games because I'm not the artistic type. My very first car I got, I put a Starfield wrap on it, so I was like, Microsoft is, you know, sponsoring me this race.
Yeah, there you go, Xbox Kyle.
Xbox Kyle, that's me. Yeah, right. I've played 2 Xbox games this year. I'm the Xbox.
Biggest Xbox.
Exactly.
But that's all they released, right? What's up?
Sick burn, bro.
Fuck it, you know. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it, but it's a racing game. How much can you talk about it? Cars go fast. You pass people. You get first place.
Yeah,
you take that money. You buy more.
It's like, hey guys, if you're into racing games, go play this game. That's all.
Yeah, if you like Gran Turismo, play this game. If you like sim racers, play this game. If you like racers in general and you have Game Pass, it's worth throwing a race on just to at least see the graphics, you know. But it's a good time. Yeah.
All right, I have to go help with a kid-related thing real quick. So I'm going to skip ahead to our Steam Next Fest demos. I want to hear about some of the demos that Jeff's been playing specifically, and if you guys have also been playing anything else new, just feed off of that. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Sweet.
I actually lied. I didn't play any demos at all.
Okay, great.
Demos? No diddling?
No, I played like 8, and I still have like 7 more to plow through. One of them is actually the Star Ocean. But I want to see that all the way through the second story R. Don't call it remake.
Bad.
Yeah, I'm already an hour into that, and that was before Next Fest, so that doesn't really technically count. But.
And it's one of the demos where you carried the save over.
Yeah, you do. Know that. And you just it's basically the whole game technically, but you basically just play up to 3 hours. Like that's it.
Oh, you have a 3 hour, and however far you get is how far
exactly.
You get. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like Octopath in that regard, where it's it's like you just carry that progress.
I love
the Square thing. I love that.
Yeah, Square's good at that.
And the first hour really impressed me. It's just so freaking gorgeous. It's unbelievable how good it looks. Anyway, I mentioned this in the chat. I don't know if Tim got a chance to play it at all, but Crime Scene Cleaner is a first-person crime scene cleaning simulator. And you play a guy that's like, it starts off with like this dude murdering his whole family, because I think the husband found out about an affair.
Oh, geez.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to tell your whole family that you're cheating."
Cheaters.
And the guy that he threatened was responded by killing the entire family.
Cool.
So you have to go there and clean up the bodies, and there's like 5 bodies.
Oh.
And the way it's so comical, dude. It doesn't sound like it's funny, but they're clearly going for laughs. It's like Far Cry level stupid sometimes, because sometimes there's silliness in Far Cry and what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Like the way that you pick up bodies and just chuck them is so absurd, and some of the things that you're saying, like, sometimes you'll pick up like a weapon or evidence, and you'll be like, "Guess he's not gonna be needing this anymore." He's making like comments like that you're like, "This is so inappropriate." And there's power washing in it, so it's clearly a dad game.
Obviously.
But there's that. There's cleaning elements. There's like And even if you want a mop, you can fill up a bucket with water, and you can put soap in there that gives you certain power ups for your mop. It's so stupid. Yeah, this game is so dumb. I love it so much. Another demo I played is Europa. This is like a third-person adventure game, and it just involves a lot of like jumping and collecting things. There was really not a whole lot there other than a really, really beautiful soundtrack. And the visuals are kind of cool, I guess. But once I found out what that's all the game is like sometimes you'll launch yourself up and glide, and then you'll like hit a ball of energy that allows you to glide even further. And that's it. That's the game. There's no like combat or anything. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm out. So Forgive Me Father 2 is another one I played. That one comes out in like next week, I think. Like on the 19th, when literally every other game comes out. Forgive Me Father 2 is a sequel. I mean, it's obviously, and it's a first-person shooter kind of style, in the pacing of like a Doom or a Wolfenstein, where it's just like kind of fast-paced. It's kind of got a retro quality to it, but it's more like it looks like it's hand-drawn. It's not so pixelated like old school, but it's kind of like hand-drawn and in like a comic booky way. I think Jesse shared this with Gaston the other day, and I was like, "Hey, there's a sequel. Check this out." And it plays super good. So it lives up to that fast-paced first-person shooter reputation.
Nice.
But ammo and stuff like that is limited, so you have to like kind of like go like, I'm out, and then you just have to start knifing people at a certain point. It's a fun game though. Gangs of Sherwood. Tim, you played some of this, right?
I did. Yeah, I compared it to Dauntless, if anyone's ever played Dauntless, where it's kind of a co-op centric. It's kind of boring by yourself, although it's fine by yourself. Much more fun co-op. It's very fast-paced, very kind of light-hearted, and even the design, it just reminds me a lot of Dauntless, where that was like the same approach, but with a Monster Hunter game. This is kind of like that, but with just an action adventure through these Robin Hood environments. And so, it's pretty fun. I think all the different play styles are pretty good. I tried all 4 of them. They're all pretty fun.
Tried them all. Did you try them all like in training or just running through the missions?
So I did Robin Hood mostly. He reminds me of playing as I'm blanking on his name, the son from the God of War games.
Atreus.
Atreus, thank you. Kind of reminds me of that because you can do a physical hit and then lots of arrows and charging up arrow shots and stuff like that. So I liked playing as him the most. And then I thought that I actually thought Miriam was pretty fun to play with too. Some of her attacks were pretty cool.
She's a magic and like
she's the one I use. No, she's the sword.
It's a sword, yeah.
It's a sword. Okay, I thought it was daggers and magic or something. Okay.
So yeah, they're all pretty fun. But I spent the most time with Robin and got past that first boss, and then it just kind of puts you back in that general like whatever hangout area where you can pick the mission to go on. And I don't know if you could do other missions. That's all I really did.
You did the one and then you got to the boss and you beat it, I guess? Beat the boss? Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so I didn't even get that far. I played as Robin Hood and I was not feeling it at all. So I just kind of failed, unfortunately. Yeah. It just, the controls, not that it wasn't janky, it was lacking finesse.
It's double A. It's like Derek said, like it's a double A game. It feels like one.
Right, yeah.
I liked what I played.
Just with a little bit more money, it would be like awesome. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. I felt
like the presentation was bland, but the actual combat was actually pretty tight, fast paced. It looked good too. Like I was playing it like on high settings and everything. Everything looked good. So
I thought it looked pretty nice. Yeah, it's fine. It feels, to me, it was not so much that it didn't feel right. I thought the combat was pretty decent. I thought the presentation was fine. If not good. And then I don't know, I just thought it was shallow. Like I just felt like by the time I got to the boss and finished the boss, I was like, man, I could see this becoming really old really quick unless you've got a group of buddies who are all really into it and everyone wants to play through the whole thing. So I got the same vibes as I did for a lot of the Marvel's Avengers. Once you get past that opening section where it's all single player story and it opens up to these kind of repetitive missions where you can co-op, it's the same vibe to me where it's like, that's not the kind of game that I like, where you go in there, you get some co-op buddies and pick a mission and see if you can increase your score. Like, it kept giving me grades after all the things, and I was like, how is that a D? I thought I did pretty good. Like,
dull. Yeah.
So I was anyway.
I feel like whenever they use Robin Hood for like games, they always make it like multiplayer centric type stuff like this. I really wish they would just make like a, You can make it co-op, but make an actual story-driven campaign game. I actually think you could make a very interesting
I wish it was
game.
More like an Immortals type of game, Immortals of Avium.
Sure.
Where it was like first person and very much faster paced and slicker, just for my taste at least, the combat wise. And yeah, you could still do co-op that way. But anyway, what was I going to say? That reminds me of what you're saying. Reminds me of, it's not a multiplayer game, but RoboCop. When I played that demo.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is fun, but I mean, is this all I'm doing the whole time?
Right,
yeah, is this the whole game? It feels like I'll just get bored after a while. So I mean, well, at least we know we're not. At least you and I, at least, probably not going to get
I recommend it for folks who love a good co-op action adventure experience, like a little arcadey, a little beat your score, team up with some. Like, I would recommend it to people if they were to ask me if they like that kind of game.
And there's enough differences in class where it can be fun for everybody.
Yeah, if they were like, hey, my buddies and I, we played.
I'm gonna wait for reviews.
If you played through like Trine all together, where everyone used one of the different, like if you're into those kind of games where everyone has a different role and you co-op through stuff, this is absolutely worth a look. And I think it's cheaper.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna wait for. Well, it's 40, but on CD Keys it's 26. But if reviews have,
that's a really good price.
If it has more depth to it, then I'll buy it. If it's just shallow to where what we experienced, where it's just like, hey, it's got pretty cool combat, but that's it. That's the extent of it. Then no, I won't buy it.
Yeah. Agreed.
I already did like the intro to the game, by the way, where it's that cinematic with the guy who's telling the story, and I was like, oh, the way that they built this and how it's different from other Robin Hood lore, where there's magic involved because of this thing that was found a long time ago. This was it Dragon Heart or something like that? I can't remember. Lion Heart. This heart that was found a long time ago that allowed their technology to kind of thrive to a point where it's at now. I thought that was interesting. I mean, some of the story stuff was interesting for Robin Hood, at least.
There's clearly some lore connections that I think are interesting takes. It's got a bit of that steampunk vibe where they're introducing like a lot of mechanics and like technology into that world, which is interesting. And so the boss you fight at the end has like a direct connection to characters you've heard of from Robin Hood, and it was just interesting. Like I don't know, that part I was like, ooh, if they, like Derek said, if they actually told an interesting story here, a new take on Robin Hood, I'd be down.
Exactly. If the story's there, I would consider it, honestly.
Yeah.
I already mentioned crime scene cleaners. You didn't touch that, right, Tim?
No, I'm downloading it to play it though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm so curious for what your thoughts are. Because it's only one level. It's one mansion that you got to clean up. But I'm so curious for what you're gonna end up thinking.
What's that?
About.
We get to play a game where we clean? Let me take care of this.
Something I want to do in real life.
I have problems.
I have four more. One is called Gunhead.
Oh, yeah.
Where it sounds like it's gonna be cool because it's like, oh, this person you're playing as has a gun for a head, and
that's
it's
exactly
like, oh,
what I pictured. Pictured a pistol.
It's like, oh, that sounds interesting, but no, it's just like a first-person mech shooter thing. And it feels very AA. The voice acting feels like it's all recorded on a cell phone. It's got a weird, like almost cheaper than Borderlands, but a Borderlands-esque type of art style that it's trying to go for. It's trying to go for Gearbox art style. Let's put it that way. And it just feels like knockoff and cheap, and it just doesn't. Whatever. I played like 10 minutes and I was like, I'm good. Mr. 10 minutes over here. This other game
I'm gonna say your window is getting smaller.
Yeah, my window's getting smaller. It's soon to be Mr. 2 minutes.
Well, you're getting older. It's fine. Keep going.
This happens to everybody, right? Please agree with me. The next game I played is called Holston. I'm just going alphabetical, basically. This is I don't know if it was Russian or Ukrainian or what that they were speaking, but they're definitely speaking a different language. And it's like is it called isometric, where the camera's kind of like up top and you might have to move the camera around so you can see different angles on the rooms that you're in.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so like they released 2 demos of this. The first demo is you solving like puzzles and getting clues and stuff. And trying to get to like the basement to collect a blueprint of something that you're after. That was all very clever and very creative. The second demo is all about the combat. So there's way more involved in this. It's like kind of like a pixel art type of thing. So it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, especially because it's like going for like a grimy feel. So it's deliberately going to look ugly. But when you finally get to the enemies, it's like, oh, there's zombies in this. Like I didn't realize that based on the first demo. Like I was like, oh, okay. And so it's like it goes isometric, and then as soon as you start to shoot, it goes first person. So it's very interesting how it does that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, but it's difficult. It is very difficult.
Got it.
Like ammo is scarce, and these zombies just don't die. Sometimes you just got to run away, and figure it out and regroup.
Yeah, that's how Witchfire is. It's like, man, this game is kicking my butt.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not going to be probably a day one for me, but it's out there. It's interesting. Some folks are going to gravitate towards it.
Okay.
Two more. Leica Age Through Blood. This is what they're calling a Motorvania.
Dude, I played this and talked to you guys about it. It's like one of the most violent games I've ever played.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's so disturbing.
Yeah, we're talking like this is anthropomorphic like characters, right?
Mad Max with like animal characters.
Yeah, so they're like cute, but they're also in an apocalypse, and they're also
like
doing a Mad
Happy
Max
Tree
thing.
Friends or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's serious. It's not played for laughs.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, way different tone.
What's
like,
it called?
it starts with
like this little kid gets tortured and hung up by his intestines at the beginning.
Yeah, that's like the first 2 minutes. Yeah,
and you have to go track down the killers and figure out where the dad went because the dad charged after him. Like it's horrifying.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, but it's all side scrolling, so it's not like it zooms in.
You're on a bike. You're on a bike the whole time, by the way.
There's just blood everywhere. Like I don't know, bloody games. That's part of gaming. I get it, but sometimes it's like,
why?
Gross.
Yeah.
So
it's really weird. Like I actually love the art style, but my God, it's so violent. It's so weird. This is gonna be perfect for Dan's streams, honestly. But
love it. Love the blood.
I love the gameplay is actually really cool. I just wish it had a different coat on it, almost. At least in terms of how violent.
You literally are biking around like Trials or something. It's even easier than Trials Rising or something like that. So but plays similarly. But then like all the shooting is really fun too, I think.
Yeah.
Did you get to the part where you use your bike to block a shot?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool feature. Yeah.
Actually, the gameplay is probably why I would consider getting this day one if it's at the right price. Which I assume it'll be like a $20 to $25 game. Yeah. And that would be around the price I would want to buy.
It's called like Leica Bound for Blood.
Age Through Blood, yeah.
Age Through Blood.
And there's actually I did get through the first boss fight where each time you drive past a light, the boss comes in and he's like a bulldozer, so you can. You hit him. You hit his little whatever you call the mouth of a bulldozer as a ramp, and as you're up in the air, you aim back and shoot him.
I remember that.
And fight. You kill him. But it takes a minute because you have to keep circling. There's a different button to turn around, and then there's a different button to brake, and there's a different button to wheelie. And it's kind of like Trials in the sense where it's like if you fall over, you got to go back to the checkpoint, man. Like so that's the roguelike element of it. Or I guess the Souls-like element of it is like if you get like hit, that's it. You got to go back to the checkpoint.
Yeah, this art
style is great, dude. Yeah,
freaking fan. See, because like we joke around and we're always like, "Oh, Gaston likes anthropomorphic, ha ha ha," lols. But like this looks awesome. Like this looks really good.
It's just the jarringness of it is through the violence.
Well, and they describe it with their. Like the text as they're talking too, it's like, oh, don't tell me what they did to his fingernails. Like,
It is jarringly violent. The last one I played is actually a Korean game. It's called Quantum Nights, and it's like the biggest demo ever. It's 42 gigs, and it's I think it's AAA by their country standards because it feels AAA. Like, I mean, graphically, it looks outstanding.
That's why I didn't download that one, Jeff. As I was looking at these, the download size was so big. I was like, maybe.
I don't know how much of the game it is or what, but like I only got. It's basically straight up like it's trying to. It's a more like fast-paced action RPG, kind of like. It's not exactly like Devil May Cry, but that's the only thing that's coming to my brain. Is just Devil May Cry 5.
This is definitely like an Unreal Engine 5 game or something, right? Like it has.
It looks and feels like that. It was certainly. It wasn't like heating my computer or nothing, but I could see it was my computer was busy playing this game. It was very beautiful though, and very fun to play. It felt good to shoot. I didn't care for the shotgun much. That was like the second gun I got. I was like, okay, cool. Can I go back to like the rifle, please? Because that was way better. The burst fire was just way better feeling. But it's just way fun, and I think there's 4 characters. I think this is a co-op game similar to Gangs of Sherwood, with different classes. I just didn't get that far enough in because the way I demo is like, do I want to buy this? Like, I mean, I'm kind of getting the sense with this one, I'm totally going to buy it. So
online co-op,
I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't think it's this year. some of these are just marked coming soon, and that means see you in like 5 years, I guess, and I'll check in again. Who knows? But that's all the demos I played.
All right, I'll add a couple more to that before we move on. I played this one called Astra Knights of Veda. I'm not sure how to say that. I do recommend that one if you like the visual style. Remember like Pentiment, that visual style where there was a little bit storybook stuff. It's like, but think of that in like a super dark fantasy setting, and there's like action RPG stuff happening. I didn't love the way the combat controlled, but I also didn't spend a ton of time with it yet. I might play the demo a little bit more. I barely played it today, but I like the visuals. I think they're very cool looking. If you go to their page, Astra Knights of Veda, I think is how you pronounce it. It's got a really cool visual style. So I think it's worth a look if you like that kind of dark fantasy setting. So that one's pretty cool. Played The Last Faith, which is absolutely a side scroll. I think Blasphemous. Like, it's a side scrolling Souls-like. It's not easy.
Oh no.
And it's not gonna be for everybody. It's pixel art. It's one of those really like highly detailed pixel art.
Oh yeah, it's Blasphemous but gray.
Super gray. It's very, very
gray. Because Blasphemous is like kind of like dark red kind of.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. It's it's not my favorite thing, and it's not at all hand-holdy, and I think I have to be in the mood or love the IP to be cool with you not holding my hand. Like Metroid, don't hold my hand. I love you so much. I'll play it and I'll defend you to the death, even if someone has a good point about it needing to guide you a little better. I'm like, no. So like that's different, right? I love Metroid. Right. This one, I'm kind of like, what? This is the demo. You're trying to sell me on this game, and I'm already like, I feel like I've done the full loop, and I don't know where to go next. I'm done, I think, with this game.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So, Gangs of Sherwood I already talked about, and the last one I'll just mention is Enshrouded, which, if you like games like Valheim, I highly recommend it. It has a visual style that reminds me a bit of Immortals Phoenix Rising. Just because of the way the characters are designed, they're a little bit shorter looking. There's just something about the character design that's just a little bit different, and it reminds me of that. I think the world's actually pretty. I think it's pretty clearly a AA game. It's not a huge studio who made this, but it looks really nice, and the combat's pretty fun. Like Valheim's one of the biggest knocks against it was the combat certainly wasn't amazing, and for some people they really hated it, which is totally fair. It's not like a combat centric game. This one has a lot more focus on the combat, and then the building is pretty fun, although it's not quite. It's something about Valheim's building is so seamless. It's just the best, and no one else does it like they do. So, but this one's pretty good if you like the survival building action adventure type of thing.
Have you seen any or have you had any interest in the I don't know how to say it, the Thaumaturge?
It's on my wish list. Yeah, I haven't tried the demo yet though,
because it looks like it could potentially be really
cool.
Great. But it's just the combat is like, I just need to hear somebody explain it to me and how it feels.
I think it's a turn-based.
Yeah, I know, but it's still like there's cards too as well. I think it's just a little different than regular turn-based.
Cards can be tricky.
I think that was another one that had a huge demo download file that I was like, oh, that can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, developer is full.
No, it's not. It's okay. It's not that big, but it's 21 gigs, which is still big for a demo.
It's pretty big for a demo. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like.
It looks fantastic. I just need to hear like a trusted.
Especially for like a turn-based. Usually turn-based games aren't like that big.
Right. Except for that King Arthur's, the Knights of King Arthur's Court, whatever that game was I told you guys about last year. It was a King Arthur game, and it was turn-based, kind of XCOM-like, really dark fantasy style. It was like 130 gig download. I think they fixed it. I think they patched it later, so now it's more like in the 60, 70 range.
Okay.
Which is still huge for
they make you download the game twice so they could double the Steam.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Records. They're like, 4 million people are playing this game.
Fake buying, fake downloads.
It's crazy because you'll play games like that, and then you go over and you download Tears of the Kingdom, which is one of the largest video games I've ever played. Right. And that's like 13 gigs. I don't understand the wizardry that's happening over there. It's something. Anyway, all right. Other new games that came out this week. I'll just mention these in case you guys happen to have played them if they're your thing. Long Gone Days, which is supposed to be, it's pretty well reviewed. It looks like it's got a cool story to it.
Made it up. You made it up.
I did not. It's real. Wild Card Football. If you guys were just clamoring for a game where you could play as Colin Kaepernick again, he's in that one.
I did. I bought it just so I could take a knee.
Turned it on and took a knee.
I picked Kaepernick and I made him take a knee.
Oh my gosh. Total War Pharaoh, which I think people who love the Total War games are saying, yep, it's another good one of those.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Haunted House, which I haven't looked into like at all, but that's a new game that's out. River City Rival Showdown.
I didn't
Looks
know
like
about
another
this.
super fun River City game.
I'm totally gonna buy that at some point.
Yep.
This looks way more
I buy
retro
every
than I
River
expected.
City Ransom.
It's very
those are the
retro.
rules.
It's a retro River City game. That's exactly what it is. The Front, which now I'm blanking on, but I remember thinking, hey, this looks pretty cool, but now I'm blanking on exactly what it is. And then Star Trek Infinite, which is not getting great responses from people.
Yeah, and I think that's more of like a resource management type of game.
People aren't digging it as much.
Where it's kind of like, I don't know, there's just not really gameplay per se. It's kind of like you're picking
they just make
where to staff people.
Yeah,
make
it
for real.
I don't
for real.
understand why they can't make a good Star Trek game.
There's that one game that came
how
out
do you
earlier
not
this
make
year,
a Mass Effect type Star Trek game?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. There's that one game that came out earlier this year, which is actually good, but it's just the fact that it feels like a 360 like PS3 game is the main thing holding it back, where it's like locked.
The Telltale style.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, damn, man, why can't we just get like one good, like fully funded triple A
Mass Effect, Starfield, like take
yeah.
pieces of those games and use the Star Trek IP.
Please do.
All you have to do.
And then the last main thing I wanted to make sure we talked about briefly, because we've talked a lot about Mike Flanagan's shows on this podcast in the past. We loved Midnight Mass. We talked about the Midnight Club as well, which generally enjoyed, although it wasn't as good as Midnight Mass or some of his other things he's made. But his new one is out now, The Fall of the House of Usher. And by the way, it looks like it has that same actress who kind of shows up in all of the things. Right? She was kind of like the nun, I think, in the Midnight Mass, and then I think she was.
Man.
Yeah, he uses the same people.
Yeah,
for the shows. Yeah,
there's a nice familiarity to it. Anyway, all that to say, it's out now. I think there's some Edgar Allan Poe connection in this. It looks really cool.
Maybe.
I'm excited to watch
I don't know.
it.
Might be the whole thing. I don't know.
I thought it was
the
about
whole
Usher,
concept of the show is
You thought it was about the R&B artist Usher? Is that what you thought?
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna
it
go
gets
over
there, guys.
his
It gets
fall
there.
from Grace.
He's gonna be doing the Super Bowl halftime this year because no one has any new ideas anymore.
Sure.
But what do you guys think about it? Can you give us like obviously spoiler-free thoughts on it? I know Kyle and Jeff, you've watched it.
It's tough to give spoiler free because I was talking to my aunt about this, who was an English teacher and very studied in Poe. And when I told her the title of the show, so she's like, "Oh, so it's about this," and I'm like, "Well, crap! I didn't even have to say anything, and you knew the story."
Yeah, if you ever read especially if you read The Fall of the House of Usher, like you know how it's gonna end, and it's like
right.
So, and it's pretty faithful to like Poe's work because like every episode takes place or is thematic of one of the stories, one of his famous stories, short stories. And without spoiling anything, like the acting's really great. The way that Flanagan weaves all of these completely unconnected stories from Edgar Allan Poe and weaves it into one giant like narrative. Masterclass, super amazing. And there were a couple times where and I haven't jumped in a long time from anything. The show made me like actually jump. It's like classic loud noise scares and stuff like that,
Yeah.
But like totally got me, and like I couldn't tell you the last time like anything has made me go whoa, or whatever.
There was actually one that I had to rewind because I got scared the first time, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And then I was like, I needed to go back, and it was a part involving a limo, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And I had to rewind it, to see what it was.
That's awesome.
So yeah, like this guy's the best dude working when it comes to horror stuff. Like he's the best, man. Like he's making kind of like really smart horror movies, not unlike Jordan Peele and stuff like that. Like we got two like juggernauts who are like really honing this genre. And I just love it. It's up there. Like it's hard to like place it. I think Midnight Mass is like probably one of the greatest seasons of television ever. I think it's like absolutely brilliant. I think this is playing the same ball game as that, but I think I like Midnight Mass more, if that makes sense. But fair. I think they're of quality of each other. I think that they're very kindred spirits in terms of like his ability to like really knock out a really good story.
Midnight Mass was so thoughtful for like a horror series. It like so good.
It's one of the greatest hat tricks in like all of television, where you're like, oh my god, that's what this is about. Like it just it's so if you go in not knowing anything about it.
They didn't tell you anything in the trailers about it. What was horror about it?
I thought it might be. I thought from the trailer it might be kind of like The Village or something.
I did too. I thought it was going to be a cultist type of thing. Yes. And maybe it is. I don't want to spoil it, but like that's.
Just kidding, it is.
This is like, again, like if you're familiar with Edgar Allan Poe, you're going to kind of see where some things are going. In fact, like the very first episode, it plots out exactly what happens, and it's all about how it happened. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's
I love that about the show, where it's like spoilers in the first 5 minutes.
There's that. The show can't be spoiled for you because the whole show tells its story like in the first scene of the first.
I think a friend of mine like was watching it as well, and he shared the shocked Pikachu face when he was like, me when the house of Usher actually starts to fall, and it was the shocked Pikachu face, because it's like it is shocking when you actually watch it play out, but it's like that's the title of the show.
I know whatever. You know what's happening, but like I'm still kind of on the edge of my seat whenever certain characters are in certain situations. Even though you already know what the outcome's going to be. So I think the show's brilliant. I think it's awesome. I think everybody who has Netflix it's required viewing. Absolutely.
Especially if you've seen Midnight Mass or what was
it? Like that
Haunted Hill House. Sorry,
Hill House. Probably.
Yeah, if you like that,
I love that one still.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
That one's on par with this one for me.
Same, they're all playing the same game,
Yeah. I love that even if you're kind of like a studied Poe head, I don't know what they call them.
I'm definitely not. Like all I remember is like something about a Raven and something. Like, I don't watch.
Yeah, and that's enough. You're gonna be like, oh, the Raven.
You're gonna. I know what that is. Yeah.
Hey, he said Annabelle Lee. I know that short story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Telltale Heart. Oh my god, I remember reading that in 7th grade. I was scarred by it.
Isn't there a body under the floorboards in one of those poems? I barely remember this.
Telltale Heart. You'll things will jog your memory of like, oh, I've no kind of the Pit and the Pendulum. You've heard. I know you've at least heard of the name. So
definitely.
And that's actually more than enough. And even if you're studied, though, it's still like he still takes a hard right turn sometimes with some like what ends up happening to certain people is not the way it played out in the short story, but he is borrowing heavily from the stories sometimes.
But guys, before we move on, I got to ask you, what is the right name for people who love Edgar Allan Poe's work? What's the right title? What should we call
Ponies.
Podophiles?
I like that one. Let's go with
ponies
that
one. Taken? No,
that's right. Because I don't think it could really make you think of anything else. So
no, especially like written out. It's obviously
written out. It looks totally fine.
Podophile, put it down. That's canon.
There you go. It's in. All right, let's go over a few quick headlines, and then we'll do a hopefully like a fun little battle square thing.
You don't believe it's fun?
I think it's fun. We'll see.
Good.
Well, you guys are going to pick between two different things. Okay. Activision Blizzard says it expects to start adding games to Game Pass in 2024. Of course, we know that the deal with Microsoft and Activision for $68.7 billion has officially
round up like an adult.
It went 69. Through. Oh my god,
like an adult.
68.7.
We're all on the edge of our seats on this one.
Listen, I'm upset. I wanted more drama. I wanted this to get drawn out for many more years.
At least a few more years. Yeah.
The only thing more obnoxious than this whole thing, like this whole arc that's happened, the only thing more obnoxious is Taylor Swift being shown at every NFL game that Travis Kelce is playing in.
I'm actually under the impression now that there's actually not a real football season happening, and it's just a Taylor Swift commercial.
Guys,
that's the whole thing's a giant Taylor Swift commercial.
Swift made Kelce. Nobody knew who Kelce was.
And I know it's rich, like 5 white dudes like trashing on Taylor Swift a little bit. That's not what's happening here. Everyone's kind of annoyed by it. It feels like everyone I've talked to,
except if you're a Swiftie.
I think even they're annoyed.
I don't know.
They're annoyed.
It varies.
I think actually
just tell them, man, I can't believe Travis Kelce's putting this girl Taylor Swift on the map. That's crazy. Just reverse Uno.
Freak out.
Okay,
listen, triggered. That name has power because I think his Instagram followers went up by like 1,000%.
Oh
I'm not kidding. Like
she changed the worth of $1 during her. You know what I mean? Like, she's basically God, guys.
Yeah.
I just
America's favorite billionaire. Yeah.
What I was confused about was I was legitimately confused. Like, why would Swift fans go buy Travis Kelce jerseys?
Because it's a story to
jersey. It's just weird to me.
It is it's a parasocial weird thing.
It's so weird. Like, if you don't like the Chiefs, if you didn't know who Travis Kelce is, just because your favorite artist starts dating him, which we all know it's gonna end. She's gonna write a song.
They're gonna get married. What are you talking about? They're gonna have kids.
It's gonna happen.
There's going to be an album about
Why
this
would you go buy his jersey? It's weird to me. I just think it's weird.
But they can collectively burn it whenever they break up. It'll be a giant nationwide thing where everyone goes out and burns their whatever.
Let's cheated.
Before we move on, let's predict what are some of the song titles she's going to have. I think one's going to be "You Fumbled My Heart." That's going to have to be one. Right?
Yeah, "You Fumbled My Heart." Absolutely.
I think she's going to use incorrect sports terms and be like hard foul or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the flag.
No. Jeff is going to say heart foul.
Heart foul.
Yeah.
Kelce see us together anymore.
Oh,
there we go. I love
15 love less.
There we go.
On the 1 yard line. That's definitely.
There we go.
Yes. Guys,
Good
we should write this.
Guys, also she's 1000% gonna do something at the Super Bowl too. Like she's gonna like guest. Her and Usher sing, Usher. Whatever together.
As soon as he saw this happen, he's like, "Dang it, I'm gonna have to."
Yeah, I know. They're like, they're gonna fire me, and they're gonna bring her.
Can I just throw something out there? I think anybody, whether it's a musician or actor, whatever, if you're one of these people that's like opening up these tabloid magazines and be like, what does Tom Cruise do? Oh my God, I can't believe you're a fucking loser. You need to do something with your life. Okay, please go do something.
You just triggered all of our women listeners. You just triggered
so many
of them.
We have a ton of them, and they're
not
all
anymore.
Yeah, they're gone now.
Whether you're a woman or a man and you're obsessed with like Drew Bledsoe, and I know I said Drew Bledsoe. It's like,
oh my God.
I don't know what that is.
Can't move on.
I don't know what that is.
He's a character in Cyberpunk.
They're
crazy.
just that's exactly what it is. Please go do something.
These
are
old,
strangers.
like Patriots quarterback. Like
Drew Bledsoe had the horrible opportunity to be the guy before Tom Brady.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then Tom Brady showed up and was like, "Oh, I'm taking your job." So
yeah.
But seriously,
he was actually pretty good too. He just got injured.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as soon as Tom Brady came in and played, he was like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
It's like that Shane Gillis bit about when Jackie Robinson got up to hit, and all the white people were happy, like, "We're the best athletes ever." And then Jackie Robinson hits it, like, "Okay, never mind."
All right. Had a good run.
Time to focus on computers. I
love that.
So good. Also, must watch if you have Netflix.
I need to watch that because I have Netflix now.
I watched
Beautiful dogs.
I've watched it like 3 times now. Like 2 of the times was just listening to it in the background of other stuff, just because I like it so much. It's
it came out when I didn't have it, so thank you for the reminder on that one.
So good. We got a new voice actor for Mario. He's also voicing Luigi, and his name is Kevin Afghani, and he's an LA-based voice actor. His only known role that everyone's talking about that he did before was Arnold from Genshin Impact. I'm not sure who that character is.
Oh.
Otherwise, he has.
I'm sure my daughter knows.
Roles, but
anyway. He's like Arnold, Genshin Impact.
Going to Impact
Town. We got to go back to Genshin and get the Impact. Get down. You son of a bitch.
Isn't there an Arnold movie that has the word impact in it?
That's really good. There's a character named Arnold in Genshin Impact. I don't know.
No. I'm saying, isn't there an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, something Impact?
Oh.
No, I'm thinking Impact. That's
I think you're thinking.
You might be thinking of
Impact
Sudden Impact, which is Van Damme. Or some
Double
Impact, or
I think it's Double Impact. Yeah,
Deep Impact. That's Elijah Wood.
Deep Impact is not Armageddon, obviously.
Yeah,
it's
different.
Yeah. By the way, I did see a
Armageddon
really
again.
funny little clip recently. I don't know if it was I think it must have been an old interview with Ben Affleck or something where he's trashing Armageddon about how this was one of the dumbest movie plots ever. How he
it was during the commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the DVD.
Yeah.
Because apparently he even told Michael Bay, like, you're telling me that it makes more sense to train oil rig drillers how to be astronauts than it does to teach astronauts how to drill a hole in this asteroid. That's what we're doing.
But it made Michael Bay so mad he told Ben to shut the F up. And said, don't question me.
Don't ask
shut
that.
The F up. Yeah. Like he got so defensive
and
about
then he makes fun of the scene where Bruce Willis is like making fun of the astronauts for getting the drill wrong. He's like, oh yeah, we got to make him sound like he knows what he's talking. Like, yeah, this astronaut doesn't know what he's talking about with how to build this technology here.
Yeah,
like,
aren't like all of them engineers, you know?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. That doesn't take away my love for that movie. I love.
I love that movie. I grew up on the movie. Yeah.
But don't look at the plot. Don't look at the plot from a distance with squinted eyes a little bit. And
and don't cringe too much whenever Liv Tyler is having sex to her dad's song that's singing on the radio. Don't look at too much into that.
Don't even think about it.
Right.
Actually,
yeah. Yeah.
So take what Kyle just said and just throw it out of your brain.
Put it in that box in your mind that you never think, the stuff that you never think about. Just put it in there. You know.
Just put it in there.
Never mind that he sings. You're literally doing my daughter.
Yeah.
That sounded.
That's the line.
Exactly.
That's the line.
Yeah. That sounded straight from.
Yep, he's never said anything questionable about his daughter or anything like that. So
no.
Don't look that up. Don't look it up.
Talking about
beautiful daughter. Oh, wrong guy. Sorry.
Not unlike though. Not unlike.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah, kind of similar statements. Yeah.
Trump's daughter's pretty hot. She is.
I
would consider it if I was Trump.
I don't think that's what was being said. All right, the PlayStation 5 Slim
Just saying.
has been announced. So it's a smaller PS5.
Are they fat phobic? That's what I want to know.
Would Sony did the thing that Sony does for every console generation? No.
That's it.
Way.
That's the thing. So apparently people have looked at it more closely, and Sony has said it's reducing the volume by more than 30%, weight by 18%, and 24% for the larger one. And that makes sense because that thing is so obnoxious sitting out here on my little like entertainment unit. It's so freaking obnoxious as it stands there, like a big piece of artwork that I didn't want. PS5 is pretty obnoxious.
A big misshapen router.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have it?
It honestly looks like someone put two pieces of paper on the side of something and they're kind of starting to fold out on the end.
I imagine that's how it went in the meeting. They're like, guys, we're stumped. What about, he like takes the dry erase board and wraps it in paper. What about this?
He just took the pieces of paper.
Like it's like a cape.
It's not my. It's definitely not. In my opinion, if we ever ranked like just the form factor of consoles, this one's pretty low for me.
We actually
just a bad generation.
We should do that during like a lull.
We should.
I think we should do. I think that'd be fun. Coolest looking console to worst looking console.
The only major change, and these are worth noting, is that both models will have a 1 terabyte storage, which is awesome. That's a great upgrade. And the digital edition is actually $50 more. I'm guessing likely because of that storage upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong.
Still seems like, why would you buy digital? Like I went digital on a couple of the consoles.
It's only $50 difference now
because it was $100 cheaper.
Yeah. Just get the one with the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. Why wouldn't you do like $50 essentially to get one of those if you don't have one, especially? So do that.
What is it? I heard about detachable drives for this console. What was it?
So I think you can buy the digital one and then buy a disc drive later.
It looked like you could detach.
Yeah, it clips on
now.
seamlessly, not like a USB dongle where it just sits off to the side. Like it actually like clips onto the side, like and makes it seamless.
I think the case actually
is former.
Yeah, you
I think it doesn't come with the vertical stand though. Isn't that like the big?
No, that's like
like you have to buy a premium edition of it to get the vertical stand.
Or
it's like $30 extra for a stand, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that sounds right.
Whereas it just came with the last one, so
yes,
So another weird thing where it's like, why? Oh,
why?
Okay.
Yeah, why are we doing
that?
This?
Was Jimmy Ryan. That was Jimmy Ryan.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get it one more time, guys. Yeah,
Jimmy
on his way out.
On his way out, I'm gonna
see you later, everybody.
By
the way.
Xbox did something.
By the way,
as I'm leaving, like external HD DVD drive that like just kind of sat off to the side or whatever.
Picked the wrong one.
Yeah, that's fun. Remember that, guys? Yeah.
No, I don't. I wiped it out of my memory.
HD DVD. Oh,
what
my lord!
What a battle!
It feels like it was right there. Like the title of it should have been more successful, but some reason everybody gravitated towards Blu-ray.
So just. Blu-ray. Just curious, out of the 5 of us, I can already tell you that not for me personally, is this enough to make you either want to swap out, like upgrade your existing PS5, or maybe even get another one? Like, are you guys interested in
If I was having problems with mine, like if it was acting up or something, sure. Yeah, I would I would happily trade one in and get another one. I think I did that for one of my consoles, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the market for it, Like, and it's replacing like the regular PlayStation too. So it's like anybody who's going to get one, almost going forward, if they're going to sell out what they have, obviously.
It's November.
You're gonna get a Slim, which is great because the one that we all have is like really huge. So anything to kind of make that like get that space back on their entertainment center.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys gonna get one? Like, do y'all need a second one? Anybody?
It's fine still, so I have no issues. Like.
I mean, if I was gonna buy one, I want that Spider-Man one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. You can just buy the panels, so it's like that's not even a thing anymore.
Well, yeah, and here's the other thing is like now those panels don't fit on this new PlayStation. Like you have to wait until January 2024. They're going to start coming out with ones that fit that PlayStation. I'm just like,
I guess what I more so mean, Derek, is like you could have them customized, right? You could have somebody.
Agreed. It's just unfortunately the Spider-Man one sold out like literally before I could even log on that day.
Wait, are scammers doing that these days? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's strange.
The Spider-Man ones were on eBay for like $200 or $300, so that's when I made the decision to just buy the console and trade in my other one. So
yeah. But don't worry, guys. When it comes to spammers buying new consoles, Nintendo has said they're going to think really hard about it before their next one comes out. So
that's reassuring.
I hope so. Yeah,
they're going to think about it. So that's
just going to think about it.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. It kind of sounds like nothing, but
they're like, boy.
You really caught me off guard with this question. Oh man, we really did.
Hey, Derek, I really need you to get this
on that one.
Get this job done better. Oh, well, I'll think about it.
I'll think about it.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what I will be doing, and this is my word is my bond. I'll think about this. I promise.
I'm gonna mull it over.
Take it to the grave. I will think about it.
Unity CEO, and one of the least surprising steps, he stepped down because of all this engine monetization stuff.
Good. What a schmuck.
Schmuck.
That's
EA,
called forced out. He was definitely forced out.
Because as we talked about in our chat as well, where it's like this has to have been his idea, like as one of the ways as they are trying as a company, and I understand it. We've talked about this plenty of times before. Companies are always looking for how do we increase that bottom line? How do we increase revenue, increase profits, which is already in and of itself, I think, a pretty poisonous way that you have to always increase year over year, whatever. But always trying to increase. One way to do it is look how many people use this for free. Let's start charging them. Let's get some of that moolah from what they're making. And so they looked for some clever ways to do it. Obviously came back to bite them big time. So anyway, he's out. Also, this is really interesting. We've talked about AI a little bit on the show before, but they used CD Projekt Red used AI for new voice lines for the guy who voiced Victor Vector in Cyberpunk 2077 in Phantom Liberty, because he passed away in 2021, and they got permission.
Not aware of that. Yeah.
They got permission. From
I didn't know.
I didn't either.
His family gave them permission, and I think they're paying the family too, like as they should. And use AI to create his voice, and it sounds like you guys didn't notice a difference.
I didn't at all. I remember going, "Hey, Victor's back. This is cool." And then a week later, this news article comes out. AI. So,
yikes!
I think that's
crazy,
when
right?
AI in this case, I think that's an all right use of AI, and especially since they're being forthright about it, and
with the family, with the fans,
and financially being like, hey, like, well, we're gonna, give them,
if you're gonna do it, this is the way I think.
And I said this in the chat. This is very Cyberpunk, also.
Yeah,
stealing somebody's, like not stealing, but like taking someone's essence or voice or being and immortalizing it through some AI or algorithm, and then using it to create a product or whatever. Yeah, that's super in theme with Cyberpunk.
It was actually weirdly timed because like the other day I was just scrolling through YouTube and I found Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park.
Yeah, I saw that too.
The Pokemon theme song.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I saw them using AI to do songs.
Yeah, it was an AI version of Chester singing, I want to be the very best. Like, that song, like, I was like, this is kind of actually
that's a regression,
like, hitting something. Yeah, it's
that's crazy. Yeah,
it was weird. It was weird.
So what you're saying is that if they have to do that for a Hogwarts Legacy actor, they must use magic to make this work. They can't use technology. Like they have to stay consistent with the world they're building. So
right. You'll have to do some sort of like spell. You
have to cast a spell, otherwise you can't do it.
Or I'm not playing
That's how it works.
Spell. What's that spell?
Last but not least, I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this. There's this news that came out that Bob Iger, who's Disney CEO, is under pressure from others that he works with. Most notably, it sounds like the board or people who report to him. I don't know who it is. They're basically trying to push him to acquire a major gaming publisher like EA.
They have tried this so many times and have closed down studios because they just get frustrated. And I'm just is this what you're doing again?
I know, man. Listen, we're no like EA mega fans, but we also don't necessarily want Disney to acquire and shut down another one. Like, no, please don't do this. So anyway, I still like the idea of Disney's IP being farmed out to great studios to work with. You know, you got Iron Man, you got all the Marvel stuff, right? Iron Man and Wolverine and Spider-Man. You got Star Wars. You got all these things you own.
Or poach.
I want an IP
other
game
studios and create your own.
Yeah.
You have enough money, poach and create your own.
They could do that. But anyway, hopefully this never happens. It sounds like he's really not leaning that way at the moment.
If he's being pressured to, that means he's like, I don't know, guys. We're getting Star Wars back on track and like Marvel back on track.
They've got enough issues to deal with. They don't need more.
Yeah,
for sure. Yep.
And they're valuing Hulu so they can buy out the rest of the shares for it from Comcast. So like they're busy.
Well, and there's another article that said that he's like spinning his wheels right now. Like Iger's like really tired and really like frustrated by all he
came back to
I don't know. They've had a really bad year in terms of like park revenue and movies doing well in the box office and stuff like that. So it's
even in the Marvels, it's not going to get better. It's that the tracking for that is abysmally low, apparently, according to a headline I read. So I mean, he came back to a mess, though. He did come back to like
well, they brought him back to because it was a mess.
Out of retirement. Out of retirement. He was literally like, I'm done. And they're like, no, but can you please like
because this other Bob is
suck.
Terrible. Yeah.
So can you please help us?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna try a little game. I just have to find the right. I'm just gonna share a generic screen, probably like of our podcast, maybe, because I just need to share sounds with you. So we're gonna do another edition of Name That Sound, although this time it's gonna be music centric. So I'm changing it to Name That Sound or Tune. So you guys have a choice. Either one's gonna be a list of 15, and we'll see how many you can get right. You can either do battle theme music, which is a little tougher because not every game has a standard battle theme. Sometimes it's like an iconic theme from a certain battle. In some games, it just depends. And in some games, you'll have a very repetitive battle theme. So anyway, battle theme music, got to figure out what game that's from. Or just a general kind of theme or major score.
I would rather do the main theme.
Yeah, main theme.
Feels right.
Feels right.
Sure. Kyle's muted, but I think he agreed.
Main theme.
All right. All right, we'll do main themes. Let me see if
Kyle,
I can
stay
share.
muted. Give me a good chance here.
What if I'm not good at this?
So what I'm thinking we'll do is that way instead that we can't just jump onto each other's answers. So you don't have to write it down, but just kind of know your answer. I'll play like maybe 20-30 seconds of it and then stop it and see who has it right. You don't have to write it down necessarily, although I should have made that rule maybe. That way we see if you actually
we still have our whiteboards, right? Didn't the whiteboards we used that one time?
Are they handy? Are they nearby?
Mine is on my fridge, and that's right over there.
I don't ever remember this whiteboard thing.
maybe you weren't here. Maybe Kyle was.
I mean, I could type it on my phone. Just use my notes.
Yeah, I'm just basically just that way you can't be like, yeah, what Jeff said. Jeff got it right or whatever. Like it's not. We don't see how many you got right. Yeah. All right. So let me share just our generic screen here with sound. Let's see here. All right. Tell me, and I'll do a test one first, but tell me if you can see just the current gen podcast thing. Oops. Is it cut off there?
Yes.
There it is.
The anchor link. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just rearrange things for a quick sec to be able to see this and see you guys. Hang on a second. All right, so we'll do battles a different time though, because I did find some pretty cool ones for that. I did like the battle theme music, and I do think you guys will do pretty well with that. So let me do one as a test to make sure you can hear it, and then we will get.
I like how Dan pissed off during all this. That's great.
I know.
Oh, he's back.
What did you?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
We're not doing the competition yet. I'm just testing this one out.
This one's easy.
To you.
Is it too loud? Because I tried to keep the volume lower because I know it was super loud last week when I shared volume.
I think
it's a good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right, guys.
Can I guess that one? Can I guess that one?
Yeah, Dan, what's that song?
It is One Wing Angel, specifically from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Specifically from the remake. That's right. All right, here we go.
I'm going to be terrible at this. This is going to be fun.
I don't know if I'm going to be good at this. Yeah, I think I'll forget names and stuff like that, to be honest.
Number one, and don't shout it out if you get it right away. Let's just wait. Well, this is not like Kahoot where speed helps you. It's more about like listen to it and then and also I freaking love most of this music, so give it a minute. All right, here we go. Or 30 seconds. Oh, we're bopping with this one. All right, we like this one. You guys know this one?
Yep.
I see some nodding. All right. What is it? Now you can just say it. See if everyone got it.
Persona 5.
Derek, did you get that one?
Yeah. I didn't get it, but yeah.
Kyle, Jeff, do you have that one?
Yeah,
I wrote down
Persona
nope.
5.
I wrote down
You
nope.
wrote down nope. Okay. That's not correct. That is incorrect.
I was gonna say a Persona, but I was like, I don't know which one though. I don't know.
So just keep track of how many you get right for yourself. How many that you get accurate. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
This might make me cry. Give it 10 more seconds.
This is the only one I'll get right.
All right. Do you get the idea of it? What do you guys think?
Ori
in the Blind Forest.
Ori in the Blind Forest.
I wrote fuck you.
I didn't get that. I didn't.
That's not a game, Jeff.
I did not get that one right.
That's not a game.
It actually probably is a game. It's
I mean,
not
that's
an indie
true.
game.
Yeah.
That soundtrack by Gareth Coker is just one of the best. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. All right. Here we go. See if you recognize this one. Some of them I jumped farther into the track because they have a lot of ambient build up, a lot of these songs. I'll give you a hint. We talked about this game in this episode.
Yeah, I know what it is.
All right, super pretty, obviously.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I want it. I want it
Derek?
God of War.
Close.
God.
Oh.
Just in terms of like, anyway, yeah, close because it's the same console that it's exclusive to. This was Ghost of Tsushima. The way.
Damn.
Oh wow!
I
can't believe I got that wrong. Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not.
How freaking good is that music, though?
It's so good.
It's amazing.
That game is so good.
Yeah, really.
It's a 7 out of 10 because there's no auto lock.
Right. Of course.
And because there's not enough Asian instruments in the score.
Yeah, that's true. That was a whitewashed song, by the way.
Yeah, very whitewashed.
Just like the whole game. It's not a surprise. All right. Here we go with number 4. Here we go. I don't know if you guys will get this one or not. I saw Jeff's reaction to that. Don't say it, Jeff.
I did.
Save it for the chat. I'm just kidding.
It was more I was surprised that it came in.
Oh, got it.
Greedfall.
Is it ringing any bells? If not, it's fine. It's fine. That's the big opening sequence for one of my favorite all-time games that I won't shut up about. That's getting remastered. Hopefully next spring.
Suikoden 2 or something.
That's Suikoden 2. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
See, I've not. Yeah, I've barely.
Dan, when you play that game,
nobody played that game.
And I'll be there every freaking night that you stream that game.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Dan, I'll be there too, just to push all your listeners away.
And I will.
You've been banned. You've been banned.
Yeah,
all right.
Your IP has been banned.
Here we go. Number 5. Here we go.
You guys are mean.
This should be Ghost of Tsushima's. A little more Asian stuff.
All right, so you get an idea of the main melody there. Any recognition?
I wrote down Horizon question mark.
It's not a bad guess. This is a
Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I thought it was Assassin's Creed.
Which one?
Odyssey.
Not Odyssey. Dan, what'd you say?
Black Flag.
Black Flag, nailed it.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, I was gonna
Dan.
say it sounds a little. I don't know.
Piratey,
It sounded
right?
a little
Shanty?
piratey. Yeah, it sounded a little piratey. Yeah.
A little piratey. All right, well
piratey.
done. Love that soundtrack. I mean, all Assassin's Creeds, even if they're not the best like entries
they
in that
have
series,
great-
their music
they
is
have great-
always
Black
Great.
Flag, and if that game is getting remastered, like the most thing I'm excited for is hearing those sea shanties again, where you're just on your ship and everyone's just like shantying up.
But sometimes if you're annoyed in the game for whatever reason, you're like shut up, like tell them to stop.
I've never done that, Tim.
I've done it. I've been a little grumpy.
They're supposed to have those in Skull and Bones or whatever that game is.
Oh,
yeah,
so
they said they would. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be
come
really excited to never hear that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Ooh. Tim, God damn you, Tim, you did it.
Gonna bring a tear to the eye.
So I know this is a terrible game since Dan likes.
No, well, you just have terrible taste. That's all.
All right, I can tell only one of you it's ringing a bell. Dan, tell us what it is.
I hate that I can't remember the freaking name of it, but it's the opening song of Chrono Cross. So.
That's right, Chrono Cross.
Something of Fate.
said
Is it
I was
Chrono
actually gonna say Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a Chrono Trigger.
It's from the opening cinematic. I don't have the title in front of me.
I know what the song is called. It's just escaping.
It's one of those opening cinematics I used to show friends on my PlayStation 1 because it was like the prettiest thing I had ever seen up to that point. I was like, come here. You have to watch this. And I would make them watch it with me.
Gotta watch this FMV, bro. Gotta watch this FMV.
I'm just waiting
Those
for
are the
Dragon
days,
Age
man. Those are the
Inquisition.
days.
Right?
Tim.
Come on. What'd you say, Derek?
Let me just show you this
I'm waiting for
cutscene.
Dragon Age Inquisition. When are you playing it,
So
Tim?
Star Wars Jedi.
What about this one? Here we go.
This feels like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 12?
No.
That little riff might have given it away right there. There's certain like characteristics of this.
Oh shit! I know the song. God damn it.
It's a 2017 game.
Well, that eliminates my answer.
So Final Fantasy 15. Or is it
a
not Final
2017.
Fantasy?
It's not Final. It's not
It's a
Final.
Nintendo game.
Oh,
Oh,
dang it.
Zelda?
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That
Wow.
felt like
the
Final
beep,
Fantasy.
beep, booty,
Do,
beep,
do,
boop.
do, 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 do. Yeah, I mean, I recognize the song. I couldn't
That's what it
place
should've
from
been.
what though.
All right.
So that should've been.
I was going down the wrong path
All right,
completely.
here we go. Number 8.
I know the shit out of this.
Yeah, you do.
What is it from?
Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah, I know this one. Shit.
Right there, you should get it with that little trumpet.
Boop, boop. Yeah.
I'll tell you, this soundtrack was a big upgrade from its original, this sequel soundtrack. Not that the original's bad, but this one upped its game big time. And so did the gameplay, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I can see the game.
Is it
Is it,
Forbidden West?
Not
Mass
Forbidden West.
Effect. Mass Effect 2.
Dan, how are you? Are you looking at my screen? How are you getting
No.
this? All right, Mass
'Cause
Effect
I'm
2.
amazing.
Yes.
I just had
Yeah.
Mass Effect down.
Yeah, I had
That
But
counts.
I knew, I
Give you
like
that.
deep down, I knew it was 2, so I'm counting
Close.
it. Even
Can
though
you
I'm not
see
gonna
who
win.
composed that? Because that is incredible.
It's gorgeous. Let's see here. They did not list it on this.
Okay.
But yeah, the main theme for Mass Effect
Troy
1
Baker.
is the Mass Effect 1 theme was solid, but this one all of a sudden they added this heroic. That trumpet just gives it this heroic oomph, and just it's so good, man.
It's a guy named Jack Wall.
Wow.
Jack
And what a great melody in there too. I love it.
Yeah, I would have been convinced that was like a Hans Zimmer protege or something because that was very
So good.
cinematic and like percussive. And
All right, number
Yeah.
9. This is actually not a main theme, but it is a heavily featured song in this game. Here we go.
Hmm.
When they sing the chorus, the line at least, you might remember that from the game, maybe.
This is your worship band from your
So it's right here, this line. Does that ring any bells? The Bliss?
Life is Strange?
Nope.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it was not Life is Strange. Well, yeah, it is Life is Strange, is what I was thinking.
Life is Strange. Good guess,
The
though.
newest one.
Skylar, Jeff, any guesses?
I was thinking Last of Us, but that's not accurate.
Not Last of Us? Nope. It's a Ubisoft game.
Oh.
Far Cry 5.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
They have a whole album
And I played
of
the
these
crap out
choir
of that
songs that cult made, and they blast on the speakers.
That's why
Wow.
it sounded like a church song. I was making
Yeah.
a joke, but it did. It sounded like
It's
a stupid church song.
They crafted it all after
yeah.
like the small kind of spiritual
Wow.
church songs, basically.
Terrible.
That's incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I actually think they did a really good job with those, and the singers were great, but whatever. All right, see if you recognize this one. We're back to kind of more main themes. Here we go.
Oh. Yes.
That little,
Yeah.
when it kicks in with that guitar and that drums, I knew you'd get that. Yeah. Now you can actually picture the full
Yeah.
thing. Right? Yeah.
Let me.
All right, Kyle, what is it?
Is it The Witcher?
The Witcher 3. You got it.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
All right. Number 11. Here we go. Let's see if I'm on the right list. Yeah, there I am. Yeah. Number. Oh, wait. Where did it go? Hang on. Give me 1 second. That link is not working. Okay. I love this one too. So good. Great game and great music. All right.
That sounds so familiar, but
I feel like it's a Zelda game, but I don't know anything
feel
about
like
Zelda.
Yeah.
Zelda.
Pull on that thread.
Jeff?
Pull on it.
Oh,
Got it.
Yeah.
Link to the
pull on
Past.
thread.
I don't know.
Not Link to the Past. Nope.
Is it Wind Waker?
It's Wind
Wind
Waker.
Waker.
Yeah. Yeah. It does have that kind of seafaring vibe. Reminds me a little bit of like How to Train Your Dragon. Like it's got that kind of adventurous on the coast vibe to it.
It's pretty cool how even if you like don't know the song, if you've heard it before and played the game, at least for me, my brain pulls me to at least the correct platform, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I think this is Zelda.
My
Okay,
sound is
which
so
one
connected
is...
to memory, man. So
Yeah.
like it's bringing you to the door and you're knocking on it, but you know you don't quite know what's on the other side.
Love it. Love it. All right. Four more. Thanks for playing along, by the way. I love this stuff. Here we
This
go.
is awesome.
Oh,
I got it. Come on.
Come on.
Cut it off.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, Derek's out.
I mean, I think even I know, right? Is this? Should we say it?
I want to hear
again.
Daniel. Daniel, you better get this one right.
It's Halo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
First Halo, right?
Good job.
It's the original theme song, which they've used in all kinds of variations
Right.
throughout.
Right.
Halo.
What an iconic song.
Dude, I mean, it gives me chills sometimes when you really put on
Yes.
both headphones and just let it go. It gives me chills, dude. It's
One of the best, all of them. Some of the
So
best
good.
soundtracks. Some of the best soundtracks
Yeah.
in the biz for sure.
It's my favorite when we talk about battle scenes. That when that actually
Yeah.
comes,
Yeah, it's a talk
and you're
about like
waiting for
cavalry
it in the
riding
later
into action.
entries. It's like oh, I got chills now. This is crazy.
Yep, absolutely. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
thank you, Tim.
why are you making me cry? What are you doing?
Oh man, I can say the name of the song too on this one.
So pretty. All right, that's probably enough of that. Of course, this song builds up and might trigger other
Boy,
memories.
does
but,
it ever.
This is our last chance.
What's the name of the song?
To Xanarkand, Final
Mhm.
Fantasy X.
That's right.
Yeah, I got it right. Good.
Final Fantasy
There you
X.
There you go. That game's so sad.
I beat it,
it's
Daniel.
really sad, yeah.
I beat that game.
Derek beat that one.
I'm proud of
beat
you.
the hell out
The
of
sequel
Sin.
totally ruins the entire game, but that's okay. You don't have to talk about it.
Wait a minute.
Oh boy.
Speaking of sad,
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
and the scenery from this particular part where this version of the song is playing, dude.
I actually know it. Oh my god.
Yeah, you better. Yeah.
It's not the kind of song I would normally hear by itself and be like, that's one of the most amazing songs. But in the context of how it's used, dude, I was like,
It was one of the most
Context is
impactful.
everything for that song.
Yeah, it was one of the most impactful moments of the game. Yeah.
And I might get this one wrong because it sounds like you guys know it. Is it Plague's Tale?
No.
Nope. Good guess,
Wow.
though. Derek or Dan, do you know it? I know Jeff and Kyle.
It sounds incredibly familiar, especially the end, like the lyrics at the end. I can't think of what it is.
Jeffrey, what is it?
Red Dead 2.
That's right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good stuff.
That's
It's
why
a song that
it's
kicks
the
in
ride.
a
It's
couple
the
of
ride.
times, but then like there's a scene at the end. Well, it's before the epilogue, which is really lengthy in that game, so it doesn't feel like the end if you've played the whole thing. But anyway, it's a very key moment for a major character, and the way that they do the scenery, and dude, it's so good.
So is it
Now-
dusk
now
for
I know,
everybody
yeah.
at that point? Like, is that
Yeah.
the time of day is the same for
It
everybody?
changes the time of day for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
it's-
just making
that's
sure,
all
yeah, because
scripted,
I was
I
like,
think
that was a big
mission
selling
is
point, too.
happening at that
Yeah.
time of day, no matter what.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the imagery is just.
Ooh, it'll get
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, last one. This might be another core memory unlocked for a couple of people. Not so much in the sad, but more of like, wow, as a kid. So let's see. Remember this one?
Oh, Tim, what are you doing? What are you doing?
This had no business being this awesome on the system it was on. Either.
I mean, like if it is the right one that I'm thinking of, so many of them are like they're
agreed.
like iconic. Like
All right, and it goes on and on. It kind of adds some more layers that are cool, but sounds like
recognize it. I don't know what it is though.
okay. Jeff, do you recognize that one?
No.
Okay. Dan, what is it?
Is it the second Donkey Kong Country? But is it 2?
It's not. It's from 1.
So it's for 1. Okay. But I mean, 1 also.
Kyle, do you know what level you might be in to hear that kind of a song?
Was that the underwater one?
I thought it was is the cave.
It's underwater. You got it.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now it's
It's when you're swimming
Now it
around,
sounds
right? And
familiar.
you can, if you add in the
Yeah.
sound effects of like being on the little swordfish and like darting ahead, like all of a sudden I think, or the the box is breaking.
But two's, which is David Wise, I think, is the composer.
Okay.
Two's is like insane.
Yeah. All right, guys. How did you do? How many did you get right? Ish.
3.
3.
8.
Probably
8?
like
Oh, Kyle and I are tied.
5
Hey
or
Dan, I thought you swept. To be honest, it felt like you got so many of them.
We're tied. We're good. There's a lot of songs there. There's a lot of songs.
Yeah.
There were a lot of songs. Yeah. Thanks
They
for
were
playing
big
along.
songs. There was lots of them.
There's lots of
A lot of beautiful songs. Lots of songs.
Memory enhancing music.
They used
Best
the
songs.
nostalgia. The nostalgia was good.
These are some great songs. Some of the best songs I've ever heard.
So in the future, we're gonna do a name that battle music at some point, which because I already have that list ready to go. But I'm wondering what you guys think when we get to Game of the Year time and we're recapping the year. What do you think about? We could still rank if we want to for music. I don't mind doing that, like overall best music. But we could do a similar game to mix up our Game of the Year debates, where I actually already have a pretty big running list of tunes specifically from 2023 games to see if you can figure out what game it's from.
Yeah.
We might do that in place of like arguing over which music was better. We'll see. I
That'd
might do
be
more of a
cool.
game for
I
that.
like that because it's a structured way to like hear a bunch of
Yeah.
songs. Yeah.
Because by the way,
And maybe you
could
could take some nominations, like where we like, hey, maybe put this one on there.
Yeah. And right now I'm up to. I was just doing this afternoon for a little while I had football on, and I got up to 32 pretty quick, and I'm not even close to getting through the games that I'm like, got to make sure I include this one. There's a lot.
Yep.
There's a lot. So, all right, we'll probably do that for Game of the Year time. Lots of good music out there. And boy, you're right, Derek. When you hear a certain song or sound effect, we did name that sound in the past where I played a little sound effect from a game, and that did the same thing. It was like when you hear the Sonic Ring collection noise, you just can pick instantly. Like those.
Yeah, these brought me to a lot of like start menus and stuff like that, where I don't know. It's just like when you hear Ocarina of Time, like that, like slow like build in or whatever, it immediately goes to like young Link riding the Epona. I don't know. The memories are so weird, man. I love them.
Yeah. Well, music especially. It's as I've gotten older, I've definitely like noticed appreciating it more. Obviously, when I was younger, I just didn't play as many games, and obviously, there's so many games we've played as we gotten older. But Final Fantasy was always a given. But yeah, there's just certain ones like that just trigger certain memories, and you just appreciate the little nuances and certain moments in the story. You're like, oh, I remember this moment because the music was also this, and it was amazing. So
yeah.
And the way they incorporate music in the games now, like if you've listened to our podcasts in the past, I've never cared about this topic. It's not that I don't care about music. I'm a musician, I do, but never have I cared about it in video games. But at least this year, there's been multiple games where I've actually paid attention what was playing in the middle of like combat and stuff, and I've been like, this is really good. Like there's a part in Liza P where it's just playing this beautiful piano piece while you're destroying enemies left and right, and it's just gorgeous. I was like, this is so ridiculously good. And then even today, I was playing Lords of the Fallen, and hopefully Tim will hear it and kind of appreciate what I'm saying. But there's it has to be like their theme song, but they play it over and over, and it's gorgeous. It just sets the atmosphere. It sets it so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Well, thanks for playing along on that one. And it's time to wrap things up with quick hits. Now, Kyle, I know you weren't here last week. So what have you been playing outside of some of the new things we've highlighted that you want to give a shout out to?
Real quick. I did beat Phantom Liberty. We don't need to talk about that. We've been talking about that game for weeks now. It's good. Good game's good. Really explore endings in that game. There's some really interesting ways that things either tie up or don't tie up. So,
are you gonna go back? You think and like do a whole new run through, or how
I'm
do you
already
think
in the middle of one?
Are you really?
Yeah.
So the answer is yes.
Of Phantom Liberty or of the game?
Of the main game. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I was telling Jeff, I'm like, I'm just gonna have to uninstall this game because it's like
it's a problem.
It's a plague. It's a I have cyber psychosis for this game. So
sure.
I did just beat the Teal Mask DLC for Pokemon like just a couple hours before we started the podcast.
Completely forgot.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's just more Pokemon, and like there's no point to any of it. Like I just God, they're such a cash grab now. It's so crazy to me.
That's what
now, and it's such an apparent cash grab.
Yeah, well, that was my thing with Sword and Shield. I was like, my wife kept being like, "Oh yeah, we should get that. Oh yeah, we should get it." I'm like, it kind of just feels like it's just more Pokemon to catch. Like
Sword and Shield is a legitimate great entry, and this was a great entry too. It's just the DLC just feels like, oh, here's more Pokemon to catch. And I'm like,
sure.
Eight frames per second.
And they did not fix that. That is still
wow.
That way. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, it is really something. Yeah. I've played that Honkai.
Oh, Honkai Star Rail.
Star
Rail. Yeah, Honkai Star Rail.
Star Rail.
That's pretty cool.
It's Genshin Impact, but turn-based. It's super anime. I'm surprised by how good it looks and how much voice acting there is. It's a really high-budget, free game. I'm totally gonna uninstall it. Like I have no time for something like this. But and I didn't dislike it. I actually really liked a lot of the stuff that's going on in it. But like I've kind of felt this way about Genshin Impact too. And then by hour 8, I'm like, you hit those walls and they want you to start paying money and I'm out, so.
But did you like the kind of, there is a nuance to the combat, which I actually appreciate.
I do, yeah.
It's a free to play game.
Yeah,
I do like the the turn-based action quite a bit. Like there's a lot of working for this game. I just know that there is a time limit for me with this game. So it's like, I'll just take those 8 hours. I'll walk away and put them in a different game.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, and maybe you feel this way too, Kyle. But I just get turned off by if you're not selling it to me as a single player experience with like a story that has a beginning and an end. even if you're really good, I won't play you. And that's what happened with that, and even Genshin. I thought Genshin was really cool.
Yeah, Genshin has a really cool combat system, you know.
Honkai was really cool, and then I was like, no, I can't do this, even though my daughter's like, the story's really good, Dad. You got to play it.
They said the same thing with like the story's there, you know.
Yeah,
like, you kind of care about stuff, and I'm like, I'm not putting 100 hours into this game, you know.
That's the thing. It's like an MMO. An MMO does feel like there is a story. Like with 14, for example, there actually is an excellent story there.
14's got
like,
a great story,
even Destiny has good stories.
Yeah. But this just feels like it really does feel like it's like, but hey, you want these other characters, right? Well, give us more money.
Yeah, $20 for your new hot waifu character, you know.
Sure.
I don't really care about any of that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I checked it out, but like it's
where
I'm
exactly looking for my
what
next
you think
wife.
that it is. It's just it's higher quality than I thought it would be in terms of just like how much money they put into it. But also this studio's printing money, so it should be this high quality.
Sure.
I'm continuing to play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm never gonna beat this game. But I have like 60 hours into it. I'm just never gonna beat it. I'm at the tower right now. I'm like at the tower. I'm outside of the gates of Baldur's Gate because I already did the tower.
Okay.
So I'm like somewhere in Act 2. I don't know where, you know, but
all I gotta say is, and I'm not spoiling anything, you will absolutely love Act 3. So just get there. Get to Act 3.
I'm excited. I'm still playing with my buddies more than I'm playing on my single player campaign. But it's been a lot of fun on that regard. I'm just loving everything about that game. I just wish that I just wish I was focusing on just my single player game though, just because like I really would just want to sit there and listen to the music and all the chatting and stuff like that without people in my ear screaming about what we're going to do next, you know. So, but that part is fun. It's just a different experience, you know. It's not
so much dialogue you're going to miss out on while you're playing with other people.
Even if you're trying your best to pay attention, just other people being around causes a distraction for everybody.
Absolutely.
You know? So anyways, I do pick it up my solo campaign quite often. I'm still playing that and plugging away at that. Really enjoying it. I've been really getting to restatting and re-rolling like my character a lot just to kind of get the best build, you know. So that's been cool. And outside of that, we already talked about Forza, and I guess movie-wise, I did a Candyman double feature. It's spooky season, so I watched the old one and then I watched the new one that just came out. You don't have to watch any of the other ones. Those movies are good if you like, horror movies. And show-wise, Gangs of London season 2. I talked about this in the chat. This is the most violent hardcore show ever. It's so violent. It's insane how violent this show is. But it's also very cool. It's created by the guy who does The Raid. He doesn't direct many of the episodes or anything like that, but like his DNA is just all over it though, just the way the things are shot and everything like that. I'm not far into season 2, but this is a show that I thought was never going to come over here without like having to rip it offline or something like that. So the fact that it's pretty easy to watch now, especially that first season, which is outstanding. Highly, highly, highly recommend that show. So that's called Gangs of London. It's like if Peaky Blinders was set today and everyone died really horrible graphic deaths.
Is it good like action
then you
combat?
Sold me.
Extremely good action. Like
the
raid levels of action.
Yeah, if it's the raid guy, then
Blinders.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Episode 8, season 1, or how many episodes are in season 1? Is it 10?
I forget.
So there's one involving a house, and it's like a lot of it is
the farmhouse, right?
Yes.
The shootout scene in the farmhouse.
It's
probably,
and a lot of it is like single take stuff, or the camera's going upstairs and then downstairs, and like it's just.
I'm telling you, and I know I'm Mr. Hyperbole. That sequence is one of the greatest shootout sequences I've ever seen in anything. Just the way that it's shot and everything like that. So
I gotta try this out. What's this on? You said it's streaming on something.
Max.
Either AMC Plus or Max. So
okay, got it.
Yeah,
nice. Max.
That's it from me.
All right, cool. Jeff, over to you. What else have you been watching or playing that you want to highlight?
I have to do something real quick. 1 sec. You don't have to skip me. It's just my 1 sec.
We won't skip you. We're gonna wait. We need some music. Let me bring up that music again. We need to play some. Wait, what is this?
What's going on here?
For those of you listening, Jeff has stepped off camera and he's putting something on. Looks like
he's got a Cyberpunk jacket. Wow,
he's got a Cyberpunk
that's David's jacket.
He's got David's jacket.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Real life DLC.
Oh,
I can't hear you.
Or something.
Oh, he's
glasses.
Nice.
Wait.
Oh.
So anyway, I'm playing the Crew Motorfest.
I knew it was the Crew.
And
God damn it. God damn it,
dude.
It's
Okay,
a lot of fun.
Can you how well can you see out of those glasses?
I can't see a fucking thing.
He's got to turn his
They
chip
blink
on
too.
first.
Wow,
That's
that just
pretty
seems
cool.
like you would get an epilepsy or something.
It is
not
awesome. Now, is this
medically
Halloween? Is this
anything.
what we're going to be dressing as for Halloween?
Yeah, this is for I got invited to a Halloween party thing, and I was like, hey, I found this jacket for like $60. So, yeah, I didn't even think of the glasses. I guess I got to bring those to the party too. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, I am actually playing Crew Motorfest because I have Ubisoft Plus Anywhere Max
Plus, yes.
Whatever it's called. And so on Xbox, I have access to all these Ubisoft games in the library. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I kind of am craving a Horizon type of experience. And hey, guys, it's literally a lesser Horizon. It's if you want a Forza Horizon type experience right now, and you've already explored so much of Horizon 5 and the previous entries, hey, that game is right there for you. If you have the subscription. I wouldn't say it's worth the full price of the game if it goes on sale.
It's on sale right now
$30.
for like $40, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I
would
will
save
buy
less
it
than 40.
later when it's cheap.
Yeah, it's a $20 game for me.
Yeah, it's really fun, and I'm actually surprised. Like,
That's cool.
When you hit the map button, it does this really cool. I love when games do this, and this is not the only game to do this. It does a really cool zoom out, and it's like 3D, and you can see all of Hawaii. And just the way that it zooms back in and like
that.
Just right in your car, I
do
love
have a question about it. I played a lot of the original Crew, which was had a lot of RPG elements to it.
Yeah.
Is this game have any of that, or did they completely remove it and just make it a Horizon game?
It's basically Horizon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of
So it's
sucks.
no longer because it used to be a car MMO pretty much with RPG
pretty much.
elements and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to be like a 1-for-1 of America or something? Didn't people talk about that?
Yeah, not 1-for-1, but
could,
yes, it had all of America.
You could drive all the way across the country, and like people hated it because like they're like the handling's terrible, and I used to like defend it. I was like, guys, it's an RPG. It's supposed to be terrible in the beginning. You're supposed to level the car up, you idiot.
I am like, I did the same amount of difficulty lowering that I did for Forza Motorsport, which is I turned off certain assist options, like because I wanted to drive the car. But there are some elements that were like, okay, well, I don't want to like just be wiping out everywhere. So it does feel really good to drift like right away and stuff like that. So I mean, it feels more arcadey like a Horizon game would immediately, right away. Upgrading your car, that's still there, much like it is for Horizon. And it's just like Horizon. It's like you unlock these like pieces of gear, I guess, for your car, whatever you want to call it, whatever the interior of your car is, the engine stuff. Each race, if you win, and as soon as you go to equip it, it tells you what is it actually adding to your horsepower, what is it adding to your braking, and what is it taking away. How much does your car weigh now? Like it tells you the stats. So
so
it's not like Forza Motorsport where it's like
some kind of that cool.
Kinda, yeah, but it's on par with Horizon in that regard, in my opinion. I'm just like, unlike Horizon gives me a reason to go do all the stuff. Like, oh, there's a treasure thing nearby, I'm gonna go do that, or a photo shoot thing, or whatever, or one of those little cliff dive things. I'm gonna go do that. This game doesn't really make me want to go do that. Like, I enjoy the racing, but I'm not really inspired to go collect everything like I am with Forza Horizon. I don't know. There's something about it just doesn't click. And I don't know what it is about these type of racing games and the inability to make human characters in them. This is the worst version of it, for sure. The human characters
stop
so
putting
terrible.
Humans in car games if they serve no purpose. You know,
they look like PS3 models. They're like, hey guys, how's
much
it going?
like the Transformers movie series. Stop putting humans.
Yeah, right.
It's like
what,
NBA
you don't want to
2K.
know about Sam Witwicky? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It's like when you would watch like if you watch somebody playing like an NBA 2K game, they're ridiculously good looking, and then if you go and do the story mode, it's like, hey,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
hey,
isn't
it's
that a meme?
Johnny.
How did that happen?
Didn't they meme like, was it LeBron's? No, it wasn't LeBron's face. It was somebody else's face who was like,
yeah.
like, and they just took a picture of it, and that's like a reaction meme now.
Yeah, it is.
It's the Starfield effect.
I'm gonna play some more Crew Motorsport. Motorfest. There is a motorsport mode actually in it, because it does actually have a cool, like, the playlist options are pretty neat. Where there's one that's called Made in Japan, and they actually show you videos of custom car makers in Japan, like live action videos that, like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. They didn't need to add all this detail to the game. And they partnered with certain car influencers that I guess car aficionados would know who they are for certain playlists, and how which cars would go with those playlists. And by playlists, I mean it's like a set of tracks that you would do.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, there's that stuff is actually pretty cool. But the side stuff I couldn't care less about. It's not like Horizon in that way. Anyway, I did beat Phantom Liberty. All that
nice.
Joke. And I just love the game so much. I mean, if we had a way to qualify it as a new release for this year, which we don't, because it's
I really think we should have
fair
like an expansion. We should have like an expansion DLC list.
Well, I
might as well just call that the Cyberpunk.
But it's like a personal list.
Then. Yeah.
It's just Cyberpunk. You know, it's interesting. I feel like same with Blood and Wine when that came out in 2016. It was like, can this count? Because it's so freaking good and it's like a whole new game. I remember having that same conversation, and part of me wants to put it up against any remakes or remasters. There's something about it where it's like, hey, this game already came out, but this experience that they've created around this existing thing feels so new and so good. So like part of me wants to put that up against like your Resident Evil 4 remake and Metroid Prime.
Well, this game qualifies because the 2.0 update
2.0
really
so
does
different.
Feel like
part of me wants to put it in that same category with like RE4, Dead Space, Metroid Prime Remastered, Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
I think that's a good category.
I mean, I'm telling you, like this would be, and I've loved a lot of games this year. A lot of games, a lot of great games. Looked at my list and said, "Wow, what a great list of games."
True.
This would be an easy number one for me, and I don't say that lightly. Like this, just the state of the game that it's in now. I think they even did some more voice acting for the main game to kind of change up some of the dynamic between Johnny and your character in V.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because there was one part where early on, and somebody pointed this out actually, where you're doing you're introduced to the side mission involving the AI self-driving cars. And and Johnny's like explaining to you what they are and kind of giving you an exposition on what they are and why they're glitching and stuff. But it's so early in the game that y'all are supposed to be still combative. Like you're supposed to be like, shut up, leave me alone, get out of my head. So it's very jarring to have that dialogue of him being friendly and be like, maybe you should check it out. Like it's weird. So they changed the dialogue completely and had V be like, you need to shut up and get out of my head. And him being like, I'm just saying, like they changed the dialogue. So like they made some updates where it counts in that regard. And they didn't need to do that. But not just that, but obviously the gameplay, the gameplay and the build aspect specifically is just so overwhelmingly amazing. I just love it so much. I got the ending I feel like I wanted. Like, I mean, the main game ending was pretty good that I got at launch, but there's a new ending unlocked in the game. If all of your choices align correctly, you get a brand new ending for the game. And I feel like it's the ending that the developer wanted you to see, because I'm still thinking about it, and I beat it like on Sunday last week.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking, or Monday, whenever it was, I'm still thinking about it now because it's like so haunting, and like there's just a lot to chew on mentally. Like when you finish it, it's
a really good ending. I agree that it feels like it's the one that, like, much like Mass Effect really wants you to fall in love with Liara because like that's the story they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
This really wants you to have this ending. So because I think it's just so thematic for the entire journey of V.
Yeah, and like they even did something cinematically that I'm like, oh, like it made me like this is an ending. Like it felt very, I don't know, man. It felt like a bittersweet type of ending, especially. Damn, man, I wish I could tell y'all the choices you need to make to get there, but it really is dependent on how you choose to play that role. Like I chose to be a corpo who's incredibly selfish and cares only about her survival. In the main game ending that I initially had, it was anything to get Johnny out of her head and to live on further, basically. And I don't think that was one of the three at launch, at least to my recollection.
Yeah, the corpo ending is like that, the hard corpo ending.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you get Johnny out of your head and you go on living pretty much.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I got that, and I moved away with Judy and stuff. But yeah, this new ending is nothing. It's nothing like that. But I made the same choices whenever they presented themselves, and the story, the way that it comes together in the ending, like it's just a great spy game. It's a great spy game DLC. Like it feels weird calling it DLC because it was like 33 hours for me. But it was
beefy.
that mission, like when I made a choice to align with somebody, and then that mission is you going like incognito at an airport and being a spy and like hiding and going in vents and getting around cameras and like this is a spy game. And even all the stuff that you're doing to set up those missions feel like a Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise gathering the crew, you know, and explaining to them, here's what we need to do and all this stuff. I just love all that stuff, dude.
Sounds kind of, because there was a bit of that sneaking around element, right?
Yeah. Deus Ex is actually really good.
They introduced like a Mission Impossible type of thing in this game, in this expansion, especially that there's actually a side mission you can do it again too, and you can use it to evade cops, where it's basically like a face swapping thing. It's really cool. Nice. Yeah, this game is just freaking amazing, dude. It's like this is the level I want it to be at in 2020 with how much I love the game. But I'm glad I'm here now. It's better late than, you know, never, and having a weird taste in my mouth about the game. But I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm circling back to it now after I think I'd put 15, 16 hours in, maybe just under 20 hours, something like that, originally, and never finished it, never got to an ending. The game was really good, but it just, I don't know. I fell off of it for, I think we talked about this for a variety of reasons, but playing through it now and watching Edge Runners and all of those pieces combined have made me really intrigued by it. I'm really enjoying it a lot more.
And I think the Dogtown stuff you're really going to love too. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to that.
That area of the map is amazing. The only other things I wanted to mention, I watched a couple new stand-up specials. Beth Stelling, I forgot to mention this last week, but Beth Stelling has a new one on Netflix. It's just one of my favorite of the year, and we've had a pretty solid year so far. She's just so effortlessly funny and such a great joke writer. And then there's a new one on YouTube by Joe Perra. Do you guys know who this guy is?
Sounds familiar.
He had a show on Adult Swim. I can't remember the name of it. I did not watch it. I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this guy show up and I was like, what's his deal? He's my age, but he's acting like a grandpa. What's his deal? Because he's up there with the slow delivery, and the special is called Slow and Steady, and he's just talking like this all the time. And I'm like, what's his deal? And it turns out that's his thing. He's a character. He's basically like Gilbert Gottfried, where he's wearing this persona and that's the act. And the jokes are actually quite funny. But it's just a unique thing that nobody else is doing right now at the moment that I can think of, at least.
Yeah, some comedians really do put on that, you know, a performance. Like, that's not necessarily who they are when you interview them off on the side or whatever. Like,
Anthony Jeselnik is one.
Sebastian Maniscalco doesn't seem anything like his onstage persona when he's on like a podcast being talked to. But on stage he's very like flamboyant and acts everything out, and like, I don't know, the way he even talks, he really emphasizes his accent and his
Anthony Jeselnik
heritage.
is one that I think of, but this is even more of an act than that. This is like he's literally acting like a grandpa up there. It's freaking weird.
Yeah, Jeselnik is a good example.
But Jeselnik is like, he's so dry and slow with his delivery, and then when he goes on a podcast, he's just like, hey man, how's it going? Like, I'm like, dude. What? Right. You're such a dick on stage.
He's mean on stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to mention is I watched a Netflix docuseries called Big Vape, and it's about Juul, the Juul e-cigarettes. And I wanted to mention this just because I love when docuseries are actually presenting both sides. Like, as soon as they have somebody from the company say their point of view, they have somebody who's an activist that's like, no, here's why we need to ban it. And like, it was just back and forth between different points of views the entire docuseries. No,
it's like there's nuance and gray area.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Because it's not as simple as, well, we need to ban them all. You know, like, I mean, or at least that's how they presented it. And yeah, it's just interesting. I walked away going, oh, that was interesting the way that they tackled that. They didn't absolutely take one side over the other. That was cool. That's all I had, and this is an incredibly hot jacket. I can't believe I got to spend a whole party in this thing. What did I do?
You made a choice.
Feel free to mute if you need to remove. Don't blame you at all.
I'm gonna make leather sounds into the mic.
Thanks for doing it. Is that leather? Is it actually made it?
Like a light leather, like raincoat leather. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Very breathable.
You could actually use that to help kids cross the street after school.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in Back to the Future.
Please,
as well.
Please volunteer, please.
Yeah,
this is heavy, Doc. This is heavy.
Derek, and we'll go to Dan, and then I'll wrap it up. So Derek, anything else you're playing outside of what we talked about already with Lords of the Fallen and a little Forza, things like that, or anything else on your plate?
Yeah, still playing Forza Motorsport. I didn't talk about it earlier in the show. Like Kyle, I'm getting through that first tier of cups. Really, really good game. Absolutely love it. One of the best racers I've ever played. The other thing I've been playing a lot is Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm about 11, 12 hours into that. I think the game, if I read it right, was telling me I'm like 60% through Bassum's story. So if I would stop getting distracted, I probably would be talking about how I beat it already. But unfortunately, I've been distracted. I'm enjoying it. It is good. It's not my favorite gameplay wise, but I think we talked about that on last week's show. But I like everything else. I like the story. I like the world. I like all that. But the game that I really like, besides obviously I'm enjoying Lords of the Fallen, is Cyberpunk. So I'm actually doing 2 playthroughs at the same time because I'm stupid. I'm continuing my second playthrough of the main campaign, but I'm playing that on Xbox. So like whenever I'm lazy and I'm just laying in bed, I'll play it on Xbox. I'm about halfway through that one. And then I'm playing Phantom Liberty, which I got about 4 hours into that on PC, and then said, I really, really like this, but I wish I had my main character that I beat the game, and I would rather just mess around with him because he's higher level. And so I just started over Phantom Liberty, and I'm
nice.
like 5 hours into Phantom Liberty with that character. And kind of echoing what Jeff said, I might add on a few things, but like the game is like I liked it. I know I liked it. I know I talked about it on the show when it released. I liked it, but it was not top tier. It was not a game that I would say is special to me personally. It is now in the category of like The Witcher 3 and stuff like that, where it's like they knocked it out of the park. Like they've nailed it. This is what I wanted. I mentioned in the chat, I was like, oh, it feels like Mass Effect. And as soon as I said that and started playing it again, I didn't go back in the chat and say it. I was like, it's Mass Effect, but it's Deus Ex. And I'm a huge Deus Ex fanboy. So if you like Dan, if you like Deus Ex, this game is a lot like that with all the changes they made to the gameplay. You can still run and gun to a certain extent, but I love the way I'm doing my character is I'm putting everything in most of my points into intelligence. And I'm doing that so I can run around with my smart weapons and just blow everybody's heads off without having to even aim or try.
Watching those bullets just go.
I know. I'm like, I'm going
to
purposely shoot over here and the bullets are like going over there. I'm like, this is so freaking awesome. But just some of the missions that I'm experiencing, again, echoing Jeff, and I totally agree with him, which is rare that him and I agree on anything. We just don't do it. But it's a spy game, and it does give you that Mission Impossible vibes. Like there's just so much stuff going on, and the production value. Like I forgot his name. I'm sorry. I know you guys know it, but the main black dude, what's his name?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's freaking phenomenal. He's freaking phenomenal. You can tell he didn't just go, give me the money, use my face, and I'm just going to read your lines. Like
sleepily. He's so much energy.
He's acting this part. Like I feel I feel his emotions, like when he's disappointed in somebody or he doesn't like somebody or he's got sour feelings towards him. Like you can tell he by the way he's talking to him in the game that he feels that, and I love that. So anyways, it's really, really good. Like I love the update. I know other people have complained about it, but and I was a little scared of it, and then once just hearing what Kyle and Jeff had said about it, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And then getting in there and actually messing with my character, upgrading him the way I want. I didn't use a guide or anything. I just went in and went, this is what I'm interested in doing. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll just start over. And doing it and then seeing it work and like work the way I want it to work is just like, it's so satisfying. So Phenomenal game. I definitely want it to be included in some type of award.
Cyberpunk award
should be
the year.
Right. Let's just give it the trophy. Yeah.
Hey, can we just as a flashback? I looked back at our 2020 stuff, and
it was in there. I think it was
clear. Like, we did not give this game like the shaft or anything. Like, we gave it its due for what it was at the time. I know for some people it hit more. Like for Kyle, I know it hit more than others. But we had three at the top that I have a hard time seeing us, even if we loved it as much back then, moving. We had Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which were really tough for us to kind of budge those. Those were already hard enough to order on their own. I do think it would have jumped Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We had finished right above it. This one, and we put it at 6th, which I think is quite good.
Oh, 6th. Okay, that's higher than I thought we left it. Okay.
And so I think it probably at least be 4th. It might even fight to bump one of those or multiple of those top 3 out. Who knows? And then for our community voting, we did some paid advertising to get more community voting in, and so had a good number of those, and it won the community voting.
I was gonna say, wasn't that the one that did really well with the community? I do remember that.
Yeah, it won.
And we were surprised that we were actually the haters, but yeah. It's phenomenal.
To be clear, we never have hated on this game. It's just we haven't loved. I think the love for it has
dramatically, but yeah, like I know I liked it, and it's probably higher than 6 on my own personal top 10.
I think it's only that high because I threw a bitch fit about it. So
it's possible.
Honest, I think
it's possible.
Well,
I'll let you guys steamroll me about Yakuza, but I'm not dropping this one.
Love it.
But
that's fair.
But yeah, I think the only one I complained about back then was Final Fantasy VII, and now I would be like, why is it 3? It should be higher. So obviously I've changed my mind.
And Yakuza Like a Dragon was number 8, so it was a good year.
Oh yeah. I would have fought for that one with Kyle, the Yakuza one, because
I mean, other than maybe Ori.
So what are you saying? We need to go back and redo all our.
We're gonna relist every single one we've ever done together.
Let's re-argue all these things.
You have to go back.
Yeah, we should totally do. Anyway, Cyberpunk's really good. It's high quality. It's a wonderful game. I really love it, and I plan on, like I said, I'm gonna finish the second playthrough, and then I'm definitely doing. Well, I'm gonna do Phantom Liberty first because I'm more entrenched in that, and I already know the outcome of the first original main campaign. So definitely going to do Phantom Liberty first. But yeah, the hook is there. It's sunk in. It's good. Lords of the Fallen. I'll move on from that. I'll play it, but like for right now, I think Cyberpunk's the better game.
Yeah. Don't blame me for moving on from it. Yeah, I'm with you.
By the way, leveling up in Phantom Liberty, I started my playthrough at level 45. I could not get to 50 to save my life at launch. And I think they rescaled it for easy difficulty, or it's just the fact that the DLC gives you so much extra optional stuff to do. Stealing cars and hijacking supply drops. I just kept doing those, and I leveled up way easier, and I got to 60 way before the final mission.
The supply drops were so... I ran into one, and it was so much fun. It's pure
so
chaos.
Cool. And those are infinite, and so you can jump in and just farm those all day.
Yep.
Nice. All right, Dan, what about you? I know you've been playing some stuff. You added to your list here, so walk us through some things that you're going through right now. What are you playing?
You had a vacation thing.
I did. My wife and I were stayed first time ever. My wife and I stayed at an Airbnb in I'm gonna use air quotes here. I'm gonna use an air quotes here. Upstate New York. Okay. And I'm doing this because it is not upstate New York at all. But apparently people in that area argue that it is, even though it's literally the lower part of the state. It's the bottom, like, northeastern corner of the state.
Anything not in New York City, they consider upstate. True.
Yeah, what city was it?
Livingston Manor.
Oh. Hello, yes, that's right. Livingston Manor. Hello, yes.
Which sounds like a place that every house is a mansion, right? But no, you're basically up in the mountains, which was pretty rad. We were, I think, 1,000 feet above sea level, which isn't like crazy high, but like, we don't live, at here where our actual house is at sea level. So
it is 4 hours away from actual upstate New York, which is where I was born, in Rochester, New York.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I don't know.
Okay. I don't know what's. I'm telling you, People who live in New York call anything outside New York City upstate. That's how they refer to non-New York City.
That's true.
It makes literally no sense, and they're all dumb.
That's funny.
Hey, I was born in actual upstate New York, up in Glens Falls, north of Albany.
Yes,
so like I get
actual
it.
upstate New York. There you go.
Actual upstate, yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was a funny thing. But anyway, yeah. So we stayed in an Airbnb. It's called the Zen House. If anyone even wants to look it up, it's a really fancy login cabin looking thing. Dude has like a sauna built outside with a plunge pool, and there's a hot tub, a mini movie theater down in the basement. Mini movie theater down in the basement.
Did you watch anything?
We did. So I watched
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse as meant to be seen on a movie theater with no one around.
Yeah.
So how it was intended to be watched.
How it was intended. Yeah.
How does that movie look the way that I don't understand?
So many clashing art styles. It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like Aliens did it.
But I mean, like the quality,
just
the quality, which obviously then we found out that there was some pretty bad working environment.
Don't think about that. Don't think about that.
Yeah, I mean
that
chase sequence that's like in the third act or whatever. It took him like 3 years just to do that scene.
Yeah. Jesus,
it's a very ambitious movie. In terms of its visual style and everything.
And not over. The whole thing's not over. So
probably never coming out. So.
Yeah.
Everyone who made the second one is now.
Yeah, we're still on a strike, and those work environment stuff. Yeah,
they're gonna unionize by the time we need to go back in production for the third one, guys. Now we're gonna unionize now.
easy to obviously acknowledge the visuals because they're just like 11 out of 10, just insane, phenomenal. But just the acting is great. The great music that fits what that is. And just I don't know. There's so much happening in that. It's just oh my goodness. It's
central, man.
And I mean, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. So like just the things that you end up seeing, like halfway through the movie, which I mean was in trailers, right? I mean, what's going on, all this multiverse stuff and everything. So, but yeah, it's just phenomenal. Really, really good. I can't imagine anybody being a Spider-Man fan and not having seen that movie. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then video games.
Forever, so I mean, just saying.
Yeah, because I'm watching.
So you 3 days ago? Like, what do you mean by that?
Watching it as intended, not around other people.
Okay.
I started Dead Island 2. I bought it right before we went on our trip, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I have some PlayStation monies, and my birthday just passed, and I bought that because I wanted to get it." That game's really just mindlessly fun,
Yes.
much like the original, but it's not as janky. That first one was janky when they came out.
Yeah, that first one I had a game breaking bug.
Yeah.
This one not so much.
Yeah. So this one, it's really fun. I like that you choose like the beginning character that's on the plane there, and they're like very unique characters with unique personalities. But like that's the character, like because that scene happens, and then you're choosing like which one. I thought that was actually really fun, really cool.
Who did you pick, or who were you playing with?
The Irish girl with all the tattoos and the blue hair. She's cute, and my wife is like, you should choose that one because that's like her vibe. She likes like 50s, and that chick's like kind of has like a 50s thing going. So yeah, she's pretty cool, dude. Drop kicking in that game, like drop kicking a zombie, like literally doesn't stop getting old, like at all. Like it just doesn't.
I like smashing their heads. Like I picked the Asian character who has like I think she had like a robotic like foot or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so she would smash their heads with her foot, like her metal foot. It was pretty awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because you also you get like a flying kick, and I tried that. I was like, no, this isn't as good as the drop kick. Drop kick's way better. So that's really fun. Played more Starfield on the giant screen. That was really cool. Flying through space on a 160-inch projection screen is pretty badass. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Mineko's Night Market. My wife and I did start that actually before the vacation.
It's adorable.
It's cute. It's very cute. It does have on the Switch. It does have some issues though. Unfortunately, they're patching it soon. But there's like this weird janky loading issue where the music kind of breaks in and out. And it definitely takes longer than it needs to load. So I think the certification or whatever, the testing didn't go through like by the time the game came out, so they're putting that through. But yeah, if you like sim games where you're collecting things and making things, crafting things, stuff like that, yeah, it's very, very cute. Guys, the real game of the year here, though, Pizza Possum.
Yes.
No.
The Possum.
No.
We talked about this last week. I gave you
Possum.
guys a heads up.
It's
on how
Forspoken, and Gaston's playing it, so it's Forspoken.
Pizza Possum, guys. It's pretty awesome.
Keep saying it like I should know what it is.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
we talked
it's not
about
working.
Maybe
You have no power here.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like $6-7. To be honest, totally worth $6-7. It's actually pretty funny.
It's so silly.
You're a possum and you're trying to get to like this top spot where like this dog king is like has this giant pizza, and he has all these like dog police and like people you're basically trying to get up to him, and you're eating food as you're getting there to get a key to unlock another gate to keep progressing further up like the mountain thing. It is co-op, so the co-op character, my wife, is the raccoon, so it's a possum and a raccoon.
Sure.
It's very silly, but to be honest, again, for like $6-7 to play with like your wife, who, you know, casual game, or with like a kid, with your kid, is actually pretty funny. It's pretty fun. It has the overcooked chaos.
okay.
Like minus cooking anything. You're not actually cooking, but it's like that kind of energy. Of just running around and like when you get grabbed, your co-op character has to smash into that dog cop to free you, and you have like items to boost your speed or like a roadblock to try to slow them down a little bit. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's really silly.
Pizza Possum.
Pizza Possum. Yeah, so I'm ending my segment with Pizza Possum.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh, good lord.
That's how I want to be remembered. Pizza Possum. Oh man, Dead Island 2 is a funny one too, because it's like, oh yeah, that came out this year, like this calendar year. That game
It did.
I don't believe it.
It did.
It's crazy to think about.
It certainly did.
Oh man. All right. Just a couple things that I'm playing. Nothing new. Just more like updated thoughts and things. Tears of the Kingdom is my game of the year, and it's not super close. I think it's the best. One of the best games ever made. So, but I've talked about it a lot. We'll talk about it more with Game of the Year stuff. Just for me personally, like wherever it is on the list, I don't know if everyone shares as much love for it as I do, but I am spending so much time doing whatever I can to not finish the game. That's a sure sign that it's just got its hooks in me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. I'm not suggesting that it should, but for me personally, it's just, dude, there's so much that I keep digging in. I'm like, well, let me just check this real quick before I start this last part. Like, and then next 5 hours later, I'm completely enamored.
Like 70 hours into it and haven't even actually touched that much of the story. So.
Yeah,
I called it the most magical game I'd ever played.
I think magical is a great way to describe it. Yeah,
I think you and I are gonna have a lot of good things to say about it.
It's just unbelievable. I think they addressed all the problems that people have with Breath of the Wild outside of the weapon degradation, which, by the way, they did kind of address with the fusion. Like I never have enough space for all the awesome weapons.
I know. I always want more. Like I'll stop the game and go, I guess I'm gonna go get Korok seeds. I guess because I want to hold more weapons.
I need more because I always have so many amazing weapons.
Yeah.
And now I've got these ones that have like these spinning spikes on the end. Like I've got all these huge axes and hammers, and it made so many cool weapons, and I freaking love it, man. I just went back to the desert because I finished that whole area a while ago, but I went back. There's all kinds of stuff that I had marked on the map, hadn't gone back to. So now I'm like re-exploring that area and going deep underground and all this stuff. I was like, I didn't know any of this was here. Awesome. I guess I'm stuck playing this game forever. Yeah, Breath of the Wild. I loved that game. It was one of my favorites ever at the time. This has I see why I'm on board now with saying I don't need to revisit Breath of the Wild because Tears of the Kingdom does everything it does and does it better. And
exactly, exactly what you want a sequel to do, man.
It's so
awesome.
Well, for a game with a lot of reused assets, at no point was ever like, oh, this is just the same.
Yeah, I have not felt that even a little bit, to be honest with you. So
like
loved
a brand new game.
I even found my giant horse, which I think is a lot of fun. But anyway, I think it's just a perfect video game. And then I'm also I am playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I do want to finish it. It is if the combat were better, I'd probably come in here and say I love this game. But the combat it actually makes me enjoy the game a little less. Like I'll pause and reload when I get into open combat if I had an option to do otherwise. I really don't like the way the combat feels, and it's not a matter of it being difficult. Like even if I win the fight, it's just like, well, I didn't want to slaughter like all these dudes, and it wasn't fun to do. I don't think the system.
I don't think they should have like punished you with the bad combat just for like getting seen. You know what I mean? Like at least they could have made that part a little funner if like, you know, it did all fall apart like your mission. But no, I do feel punished whenever like it's like, oh, I have to do this combat now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, shame on me, I guess.
Also, some of the tools they give you, I'm like, well, let me use this tool and this will help me. Like the smoke grenade or the smoke bomb or whatever is useless. I drop it and try to run away and they stay on my tail. I'm like, well, all right. I've used it in previous Assassin's Creed games, and that was a good way to get away. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. That was a good way to get out of combat and go back into your stealth mode to try it again. And I don't know, man. Like that part of it is bothering me enough that I'm like, this game deserves the 7 that it got.
Yeah,
it deserves the 7.
It's swimming in 7.
I do like Baghdad a lot, though. I think the city's really cool.
City's
really well realized city. Yeah, very big.
Water and swim, like I'm like, this is gorgeous. This game looks amazing.
Story is interesting, the way it's unraveling. They nailed all that stuff.
Like all the mystery webs of like, oh, this person, like the way they do the mysteries that you uncover and you got to find clues. I like
the investigations. I really like. You know, you do this, you do that, then you might get a name. You know,
right?
I like that part of it too.
They definitely try to make sure that you know you're on the morally right side of things, which I wish they would reintroduce some more gray area back. I thought some of the more recent Assassin's Creed games allowed you to see like, hey, the bad guys aren't fully bad and you're not fully good. Like I felt like there's a little bit of that. And this certainly has I'm walking around pickpocketing everyone, poor or rich, I don't care. And I'm killing so many people. And yet I'm kind of lecturing the bad guys for they're trying to achieve what they think is a good thing, but I'm lecturing them for doing it in an evil way. Like they're killing people, and I'm like, I'm killing a lot of people. Like, what are you talking about? So like, there's
civilians.
There's an element. Again, it feels like a 10-year ago Assassin's Creed where they haven't. It's like they forgot the nuance of how you can make this Assassin's Templar thing interesting, make it intriguing, and show me both sides. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I am definitely the morally upright person, which I know is not accurate, as I stab everything that gets
so many people are dead.
Yeah, it contradicts it.
So many people are
dead.
The
tone of it contradicts itself all the time.
Yeah. But all that being said, I love.
I was thinking. Sorry.
I was just saying, I love going into an area, even if it's I'm doing a lot of side missions like Derek said. I think I'm like 15, 16 hours in. Should totally be done with this game, but I'm doing a lot of the side quests and the contracts. I think they're pretty fun. I love going into an area using the bird to tag everybody. I've upgraded the abilities for the bird to tag everybody really easily, and then just going through and wiping them out, getting stuff out of the treasure chest so I can go upgrade my tools and whatever else. So I'm liking the loop. Like it's a familiar Assassin's Creed, old school Assassin's Creed loop that I really do enjoy. So that's why overall I'm still playing it. I didn't uninstall it because of the combat's not my favorite, or some of the character stuff's a little bit wonky. Don't care about that. I'm having a blast with the Assassin's Creed loop. So that's it. Well, what were you gonna say, Derek?
Oh, I was just going to say, as you were talking, I was thinking, how cool would it be if they made in the future an Assassin's Creed game where, you know, you start off playing the way they do most Assassin's Creed games, where you think you're part of this order, but based off the decisions you make in the game, like you personally make for the character, they kind of give you a choice to either be good or bad. And that way, the actual story and the writing should be done in a way where both are seen as kind of neutral. Like you get why one side's doing. I think that would be really cool, where you could either end up being an assassin or, you know,
or
go the
agent of the Templar, kind of like you were in Rogue, which was a blast.
I think that'd be cool.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
I was going to say that I got Ubisoft subscription to try out Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'm over here going, I think what you guys are saying is like a reason for me to uninstall it and just keep playing the Crew Motorfest, which is not what I thought was going to happen at all.
This isn't how this was supposed to go.
Yeah.
You're like Obi-Wan yelling in Assassin's Creed.
The chosen one. It's just the more you say about how unappealing the combat feels, like I'm just like, oh.
You just got to play it strictly stealth.
Yeah, and if you get seen, just be like, oh, I got a game over screen there.
The loot, the stealth loop is fun. And like good. Tim, I'm playing it pretty much exactly how Tim said it.
Forgiving.
It's very forgiving.
Oh, good.
The enemies are dumb. They're pretty dumb, which is fun.
They're pretty
dumb.
Just
just to the side of them, and they won't see you. You know what I mean?
So I put on a fire demon costume where fire's coming out of my eyeballs. And because I'm sitting on a bench, when I hit blend in, they don't see me there. Like I'm just blended in, but I have fire on my sword and in my eyeballs, and they're like, just a peasant over here.
They literally went back to the beginning because that was always the thing with the older ones. It was like, the combat's just not great, So it's like they literally were like, let's.
I mean, it does feel like 1 to a T, even the combat, even the way that you parry and stuff like that. It feels like Assassin's Creed 1, not 2, even 1.
Yeah. And I will say, speaking of games like Zelda, those games get criticized because there's all these wide open spaces where there's not a lot going on, which I highly disagree with, especially with Tears of the Kingdom. But even with Breath of the Wild, I thought there's always something to do. Anyway, you get into the wide open space here, and I quickly am realizing, there's a good amount of space, but there's literally nothing. It's just open desert, which is kind of cool. You can ride from point A to point B, but there's like a little village here or an excavation site maybe, or maybe a cave. But in between that, you might accidentally step on some snakes, or there's these wild goats that'll try to ram you if you're not on your camel. They'll try to run. Otherwise, there's literally nothing. I'm like, okay,
goats are dicks, everybody.
They are. They're not, especially from that area of the world. They're just not nice. They've seen a lot of stuff, but I don't know. There's something about. I'm just like, this is surprisingly empty because when I played, Odyssey Origins, especially less with Valhalla.
Yeah,
Odyssey Origins. There's so much. Like every corner, every area had something.
Well,
something new,
Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla all kind of like feel like Witcher 3 in terms of just like we wanted to make sure we tuck something away in every corner. Whereas
we're gonna reward you for looking here.
In this one, it's like don't even explore. Like just stay on the road. go to your mission objective, and that sucks a little bit. But it's also a $40 game or $50 game. So.
Exactly. I'm balancing out like I wasn't expecting it to do those things, so I had this moment of being pleasantly surprised. Hey, the map's bigger than I thought.
Same here. Yeah, I was actually surprised how much wilderness there was, to be honest.
And then I realized like, it's not that great to explore. It's not that it's like small game.
Is that a tree? I think that's a tree. Oh my god.
The city is great though, and that little inner round city, like. Great, like that's all designed really
like
well.
It very few times as a video game, like it feels like you're actually in a city, like where there's thousands or hundreds of thousands of people living in it. Like it actually feels like that. Which is hard to do. So
and also they really quickly make posters of you when you do something bad and are spotted. Like the posters go up super fast and people recognize you really quickly.
Terrible drawing. I don't like it.
It's all right. You rip those down and you rip one sign down the middle and your whole wanted level just goes down the whole thing. I'm like,
everyone standing around who you saw a second ago is just like, never mind.
They were all gathered at the poster. They were looking at the poster. They were even recognizing.
They saw me go like that.
They saw me rip it, and then all of a sudden,
It's like they get instant amnesia. They're like,
it was like Men in Black.
They got Men in Black. Yeah.
It's so video gamey.
It is
very video. Yeah. All that to say, I mean, I'm planning on finishing it because It feels like I'm knocking off a game off my backlog list. Like that's the vibe I get while I'm playing this game. Like, this is an Assassin's Creed.
You know what? I missed this entry. They re-released it. I'm playing it now.
Yeah. I skipped this back in 2014. I'm just now going. Right. That's what it feels like as I'm playing.
I have to finish it. I beat every Assassin's Creed. I'm not. This one's not bad, so there's no way.
It's not bad. Yeah, bad is not a word I would use to describe it, except for the fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. I mean, it's not as good as Forspoken, but it's a decent game. It really is.
Define good.
It's not.
Okay.
Go feed the goats. Best mission ever.
I did feed those goats, and I kept playing.
I quit the game after that mission.
Or the sheep. The sheep. My bad.
No way, dude. No way.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with this. All right, guys. I think that does it for us this week. Thanks for tuning in. Next week we've got Spider Mario hitting. So
oh my god,
excited!
Bigger than Barbenheimer.
It's a Spider-Man.
We're not going to be sleeping a whole lot. There's a lot of gaming that's going to be happening in the second half of this week.
I am so stressed already.
Yeah, same here.
It's supposed to be a fun time.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time. See ya.